Okay, good luck.
Aha. Hey, how about one date?
What is that? Don't be silly.
You telling me that Aeris' whole thing of one date that she says to Cloud in the OG, she got from Zack? Playing Final Fantasy Retcon Core. Okay, let's get going. So Zack falls through the roof like Cloud. He gives Aeris the line that she uses on Cloud later on. My god, this fan fiction is unbelievable.
Think of your worst snarker. Sebi is that for Final Fantasy.
Unbelievable.
Stop. Don't step on the flowers.
Hey, she said that in the first game.
Excuse me?
Normally, people are more careful with flowers.
Well, I guess I'm not normal.
Wait, is this the real voice actor? I'm sorry, I shouldn't make fun of American VAs.
Well, I guess I'm not normal.
I'm sorry.
Oh. Fuck. You don't see a lot of flowers in Midgar. They're like luxury items around here.
They only grow here. Although, I planted some outside my house too.
If I were you, I'd sell them. Midgar is full of flowers, your wallet's full of money.
And he gave her the idea to become a flower sales girl person. Oh, God.
Midgar full of flowers. Wallet full of money? Never thought of it that way.
Hold on, it's a 4.5 minute video.
Well, silly me, thinking Aeris was her own person with her own thoughts and dreams. Nah, she just got it all from Zack. He just shows up, falls through the roof like Cloud in the original game, sorry, in the real FF7, and then tells her what to think and what to do and what to say. Well, that's fantastic. What, like, is Zack...
Okay, I don't know how he falls through the roof because I never played this game. But in terms of, like, the lore of Final Fantasy VII, isn't this kind of the point that Aeris fell in love with some dude who was basically a fucking carbon copy of Zack? But even she knew that that Cloud was not, like, a real person, that it was somehow he was, like, a copied fragment of Zack, and even she knew that?
Like, secretly the dev's favorite main character, and then they just want to make it all about him instead? Like, what is this silly sausage nonsense?
Like, I don't know how meta this is, if this is like an AI video created by Hideo Kojima, but like, isn't the reaction that he's having right now, isn't this supposed to be the reaction the player is supposed to be having after Cloud falls into the live stream and is being talked to by Tifa, where you're like, what? Zack was the main character in everything? Cloud was just a fucking loser soldier following around in one of those stupid blue outfits, and it was really Zack was the main character the whole time, and Cloud didn't do any of that cool shit? What? Well, isn't this like the whole point of the first game? Am I missing something? I feel like it's just the whole...
So much for a strong, independent woman. Yeah, this is so bad. That's so bad.
He wasn't a loser, fuck you, but he literally was a loser, right? Like, he went to join Soldier because he thought that the fucking genociding of the Asians in Wutai was cool. The war was already over. He never even made it into Soldier at no class. 10th class, 30th class, nothing. And he was just a loser fucking patrol guy following Zack around. No?
And it's amazing. All right, here's my review. Combat is, whatever. Graphics are good. Voice acting, not great.
I don't know if Aeris... I refuse to say Aerith, I'm sorry. I don't know if Aeris really thought that Cloud was clearly not who he said he was. Again, in my mind, Zack is who Cloud thought he was, but Cloud did not have the personality of Zack. I thought that... Am I over-indexing on that line or reading too much into the... When they're doing that date scene in the Golden Corral, doesn't Aeris say something to Cloud where she's literally like, I wish I could meet the real you? Isn't that literally an allusion to the fact that Aeris seems to know that he's not himself? Am I misunderstanding that? She says I was trying to find the real you. Something like that, yeah.
Music, forgettable for the most part. 99% of it's forgettable. Retcons, atrocious. Dialogue, abysmal. Romance scenes between Zack and Aeris, forced, fanfiction-y, unnatural.
He's like a Cloud stan, bro.
And it's like a weird fanfiction attempt to make Zack the main character of FF7.
But, like, that's the whole point of Final Fantasy VII, right? It was a weird fanfiction attempt of Cloud to make himself the main character when he wasn't. That was, like, the whole point, I thought, no?
Did you know, chat, that Zack is the one who named Tifa's bar Seventh Heaven? Did you know that Zack is the reason Aeris even thought of selling flowers? Did you know Zack is the reason Aeris wears pink? Did you know that Zack basically did everything? Zack is basically the God Emperor of FF7 in that game.
Which is why Cloud copied, like, his entire backstory, is because Zack was so cool, right? What was wasn't one of the mindfuck moments? Oh my god, there's no way there's gonna be an image of this. FF7 original image picture Zack, Tifa, Sephiroth. Oh my fucking god. Like Cloud was like, that's supposed to be me. I thought that was me. I thought I was the one, blah, 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 right? Like that was like the whole point, no?
Game. Everything that happened in that game was just as planned. It's just crazy. And Crisis Core in isolation would be fine on its own.
I think that statement from Eris is kind of a double entendre because Cloud definitely comes off as someone who is hiding behind a mask. No, come on. She's got the special fucking emotional Cetra feelers of the universe or whatever.
But it is the reason FF7 Remake and Rebirth are the way they are. And now that you've seen it yourself with your own eyes, you can't unsee it. Remake and Rebirth are not remakes of OG FF7, they are sequels to Crisis Core. And once you look at them through that lens, you can't unsee it. There's a reason that all the scenes from the OG, there's a reason that in Remake Rebirth, when it uses a scene from the OG, it uses the Crisis Core version of that scene and not the OG's version. It's just crazy.
How could you like it goes back to like graphics that are from 97?
It's brutal. So yeah, not great. I feel like there could be an amazing tweet to be cooked out of that, and I'm sure that the modern FF7 fan will absolutely love it. So, but I'll have to think about that.
Final Fantasy VII, date, scene, Eris, original. These were peak graphics. If you make fun of it, you're making fun of my childhood, and you deserve to be killed. In a video game. Bother me how you looked exactly alike. Okay, because he wants to be Zack. This, I'm searching for you. I want to meet you. I'm pretty sure she knows that this is not... No, hold on. Who said... Oh, fuck, dude. When we do... Sometimes I get mad because people, they make the dumbest artistic critiques, and then they're like, Destiny's retarded. But then I read some of the things you guys say, and I'm like, oh my god. You guys are retarded. You think that she's just saying here, like, oh, I feel like you have a rough exterior, and I want to meet the inner child that you have? No. Can I hop in disagreements? Oh god, you're going to make me want to kill myself. Are you Ash Vink? If you're playing it for the first time, are you supposed to know she's talking about Zack? No, you have no idea what's going on. You do know something's weird, though, because up to this point in the game, there's been 2 or 3 times where a weird voice is talking to you and you don't really know who it is. Actually, I don't even know if you know who it is. The first time is when you fall through the roof. And then the second time, I think, is when you're in Junon. No, it's when you're below Junon in that town with the dolphin minigame. I feel like I've read multiple fan theories on this, and I don't know if it's a settled thing. Because at one point, people think it's Cloud talking to himself to try to put himself back together. At another point, people say it's Jenova talking to him, but I don't know if that makes sense fully. I've heard Sephiroth talking to Cloud. That doesn't make sense, because I don't even know. Okay, you've got 2 seconds to trigger the fuck out of me. What do you want?
Okay. So this is super autistic because it's Final Fantasy VII's a giga-old video game.
Good.
So I don't think that what they're going for is necessarily it's a bit of A and B. I think some of it is
it's a bit of
Zack
A and B?
is affecting Cloud's personality.
Wait. What'd you say?
It's
a
little bit of A and B.
Oh, A and B.
Zack
okay.
is affecting Cloud's personality because at the end of the game he's let's mosey or whatever. He's a slightly different person. But he's also putting up a front, right, in that gold saucer scene. So he's trying to So Aerith is like, I want to meet the real you, but I know you're putting up this like weird front where you're acting like my ex, and it's weird. In
Well, but
terms
it's
of,
not
like,
just wait. It's not just weird though, right? Like he literally like copied Zach's personality after watching him get killed, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if Aerith knows that, like, or Aerith knows that.
Isn't she
right?
literally like an in touch with the universe, like the last living fucking ancient person? Like, wouldn't she know
She's
this?
a Cetra, but we don't like the exact powers of the Cetra aren't like super well established as far as I'm aware.
So you think it's
Like,
just a coincidence that she's on a date with him saying, I wish I could meet the real you, and then one disc later we find out that this is not the real Cloud. He's actually a fabricated person who was her ex.
Again, it's a little bit of A and B. I think it's both of those things that he's putting up a front to be like, I'm this cool first class soldier guy. That's why he like tries to act detached like from the very start of the game.
Well, but it's not just
But
that he's a
the-
cool first class soldier guy. It's that he's like that's not like a front. That's like it's like a delusion.
but I guess my frustration is like, what aspect of Zach's personality is Cloud like reflecting? Do you think?
Like, what do you mean? Like
Using
his
just
whole,
the
his whole
text of the game.
backstory and
So like when he talks to Tifa about like sitting on the water tower, he's talking about like he's stealing that from Zach. Zach did that actually, because it's not true, right?
wait for what? Say what?
When he's talking, so earlier scene, he's talking to Tifa about like when he was a kid and he wanted to join Soldier.
Yeah.
He's not stealing that from Zach, right? That's the whole point of like the mental crisis scene, is that he's trying to figure out like what part of his story is true and which part isn't. And so some of the stuff, like with Nibelheim and being a first-class soldier and all that stuff, that is taken from Zach, but all the earlier stuff isn't.
Well, he takes all of the backstory from Zach, but I don't think he takes the personality, right?
I think
He definitely doesn't, because Zach,
because Zach is more jokey and like
Yeah, and
jovial,
he's, like,
but
bubbly and, like,
there's
yeah,
not
cool.
much text. Sorry, go ahead.
or no, I was gonna say yeah. Like you went to the basement in disc 3 and you saw that the fucking travel scene or whatever, right, in the truck.
Yeah, where like Zach is like doing squats and
Yeah, and he's like jovial
Sephiroth is all
and,
like,
like-
oh, you're green, and Zach or in Cloud's like in the like basic Shinra getup. Yeah.
Wait, maybe yeah, but there's another one where they come out of the Hojo tanks.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the one where Zach gets shot and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
as
yeah.
he's trying to like take Cloud out of the thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well. So you think that when Eris on the state, which is like, I want to meet the real you, she just means when it gets super dramatic and there's text superimposed on an FMV screen, she just means I just wish that you would be less angsty. That's what she means there.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I think you're partially right. I think it's part of it is that he's putting up a front that's informed by Zach's backstory, but I don't think it's like Cloud and Zach. The main frustration with Crisis Core, in my opinion, is that Zach is just the coolest guy who does only cool shit like forever, and then later on, like he did all the cool Final Fantasy VII shit before Cloud did. But I don't think that's supposed to like those thematic parallels aren't supposed to be like literal. That seems very strange to me.
What do you mean thematic parallels?
Or I guess not thematic, but like if your point is that Cloud and Zach are supposed to be like going on the same journey, is that what you're trying to say with like, isn't this the point of Final Fantasy VII, is that Cloud's like putting up a front? No.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't
Like,
have said point of Final Fantasy VII. I made that sound way too thematic. When I say point, I really should have just said it's like the plot. It's not like the theme necessarily. I don't. I would have to think a lot actually. I feel like Final Fantasy VII is a role playing game. I don't know, as much as I love the game, if there's much like deeper thematic meaning to anything. But like a plot twist, a big plot point was that Cloud copied all of Zach's history. And I'm pretty sure Eris saw through that.
right, but like copying someone's history isn't the same as like literally doing the same things they did. Like Zach drops into Sector 7 through the roof exactly like Cloud does, but just 5 years earlier.
Sure.
And he he likes Aerith, and Aerith gets into him 5 years earlier. Like it seems like, and some of that might be, but all that stuff was added in Crisis Core. As
Yeah,
far
so
as
the
we
falling-
know, in
the
like
falling
the
through the-
original 7.
Well, the falling through the
Sorry,
roof
go
thing
ahead.
was, I don't know why that happened in Crisis Core. That seems a little too on the nose, I guess. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Everything
That's all
else seems to be pretty like rooted in the original game. No,
This is getting into like.
like Aerith and Zack had
Crisis-
dated, and they were like, and Zack was very similar to Cloud. Like even Aerith's stepmom or whatever realized that they were like very similar. That's why she tells Cloud to fuck off. Like,
Yeah, I guess I guess to me it seems a little for Crisis Core specifically, Zack seems like a very like top tier, greatest dude who ever lived, like kind of person in the Final Fantasy VII universe, that it seems very strange to build up this like character who in Final Fantasy VII, his purpose is to simply be like this narrative device for Cloud to have a false history, so that when we have like
okay, wait a second. Have you played Crisis Core?
I have not played Crisis Core all the way through. No.
Okay, but you're like pretty familiar with the story.
I'm somewhat familiar with the story. A lot of it. So
Okay.
some of it is
well,
like
just as a
goofy
quick thing,
stuff.
because I haven't at all. So if you're telling me that like in Crisis Core in these games, if they make like Zack like a literal fucking superhuman super soldier guy or whatever, then maybe if I had that background, maybe I would be more agreeable. Maybe it'd be more on your side. I just don't have that background and maybe I don't know if that's the case. Do they, like somebody in chat just said in YouTube chat just said that in Crisis Core Zack fights Sephiroth and wins. Is that true? Because I think that would be a huge diversion.
That'd be a
Because I think
goofy
in
thing.
the
I don't think that happens because he still gets gunned down. But like here's the thing: in the original Final Fantasy VII, he gets gunned down by like 2 Shinra soldiers because he's like weak and tired.
Sure.
But then in Crisis Core, it's like a whole army shows up and they need helicopters and like dudes are like pulling out like he literally gets gunned down by like 500 dudes and he kills all of them and then he dies. Like it's.
Okay.
I don't know why the compilation,
I feel like you can
which
do.
is all the.
It might be in the original game that back in the day when translations were rough and nobody really gave a fuck about American audiences as much, the stories gave you like breadcrumbs of things like that. I remember, I think it was like a year after I beat the game that I even stumbled on that cutscene in that basement. It might just be that they wanted to make him a little cooler for Crisis Core, whereas in the original game, I think the implication was that he was quite weak from all the weird, from almost getting killed at the reactor at Nibelheim,
From
and
like
then
the
Genova
Mako
cells
poisoning
and everything
and
else, right?
Yeah. I don't so here's probably the main disagreement. I think that you're right that like Cloud is taking bits and pieces of his personality and like kind of like meshing them with Zack. Some part of it is Cloud, some part of it isn't. And that's what Aerith is kind of getting at, is like she sees like glimpses of the real Cloud behind like this sort of veneer that he's putting up, but she's not like getting it. But I don't know if Cloud and Zack needed to go on like the exact same like have the exact same scenes happen to them for like their story for the story to still make sense. But that's more of, I guess that's more of an issue with Crisis Core, because Crisis Core is just obsessed with like, don't you want to know how like Zack got the Buster Sword? And it's like, no, dude, I don't give a single shit about it. Like, who cares?
Yeah, as soon as I tried to look up something and I saw like Angel and like a whole bunch of anime fighting on like the Junin canon, I completely didn't care.
The G cells and bullshit. Anyway, I don't know.
Okay.
Off topic.
All right. Well, I mean, I can't have the strongest opinions on Crisis Core. I do agree that there's no reason for them to have to go through like the same journey and everything. That's kind of, it seems unnecessary to anything. But okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one more thing. That guy who you're reacting to, that guy's, I think his name is Sebi Webbs. He is the worst Final Fantasy fan on the planet. I don't know why this guy continues to
Like
grift.
Final
every
Fantasy
day of
VII
his
fan,
life.
or like all the Final Fantasies?
Dude, I watched him play Final Fantasy 12, which is a game I like, and I understand why people don't like it, but he is just the most insufferable little twerp on the planet Earth playing through that game. and he just constantly complains about the game. He says he like sucks off Expedition 33 every day. He's like, the next Final Fantasy game has to be like Expedition 33. Oh my god, if it's not like Expedition 33, I'm gonna cry every day into my pillow. And it's like the worst fan.
I will
The
say that
worst
like
fan.
I'm I guess I don't know his background or whatever. I love original games. Okay, wait, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Did you even play the original Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah, I played through it a couple years ago.
Fucking child. I will say that I'm a little jealous, I guess, because growing up, like the games were cool and they were expansive and big or whatever. But when it comes to like thematic expression of deeper things or whatever, like modern RPGs, especially a game, I would say like Expedition 33, is doing a much better job than at least any of the old Final Fantasies that I played, which I love, and they have like decent, like they have serviceable or decent like plots, and I like the characters and the fighting and everything. But like I don't know if you're ever doing like a deep theme analysis of Final Fantasy VII in the same way that like for a game like Expedition 33, you might come away, you know, like, well, what's better, living in delusion or being happy, and then all the different associated traumas and ways that people do with that. I don't think you're ever getting that from many like old JRPGs, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean I have issues with Expedition 33 for other reasons that have like nothing to do with its story.
With the exception of Metal Gear Solid games, because those are my goats. But sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say with older games, I agree that there's less like thematically and like thought wise to like chew on narratively, but that's because like that's like sort of the nature of the beast. They didn't have as much room for literal text, like right. So like when they were translating Japanese text to English text, they didn't have as many characters as the Japanese had, or like they weren't able to express as much using English letters compared to like, you know, Japanese kanji or like katakana and stuff.
Sure, maybe, yeah.
So it's just
Also, I feel like the translators, I feel like they just didn't care that much. Or that's mean to say, I guess, but like it was definitely like an underfunded, under budget thing. You can absolutely tell because of the like sometimes they'll just be sentences that
the
just
Sky
like
are sick and like a bunch of shit.
yeah,
like
typos or things that don't make sense. Final Fantasy Tactics was notorious for this. Sometimes like whole names and shit would just be changed arbitrarily in the lore because they just weren't keeping track of shit.
Yeah, it's just and that was the nature of the beast back then, especially because like 1 through or like Final Fantasy 6 was translated by Tud Woolsey, like himself. One guy did it.
Sure.
And it's like and he was I think his original script was like 3 times longer than what they could fit character wise, and then he's like, okay, I've chopped it down. And it's like this is still 2x as long.
Sure.
As we can do. So they're trying to modern Final Fantasy games. I don't know if you've played any of them.
I played 15, I think. Yeah,
they're okay. But like with 16, they did a different process where I think the main writer for that story was the Japanese like story director, and then they translated it to English, recorded it in English first, and then brought it back over to Japanese. And then the Japanese story director had to like rewrite stuff to fit the English better. So they're trying to like mend that a little bit. Translation's a little bit more important, a little bit more mainstream now. So there might be more stuff. Although Final Fantasy 16 is basically like a shonen anime still a little bit, where the main character just needs to build connections and like fight against his trauma, become like a sort of villain in the world so that he can take down like this hierarchy of evil. It's still very shonen anime.
sure.
But I feel like as time is going to go on, we're probably going to get more like Western inspired Final Fantasies, and they probably won't be turn based, and everyone will cry about like, oh, Final Fantasy 17 is like a action turn-based hybrid again, and it's like, and everyone's gonna be like, but why isn't it turn-based? If there are no turns, how am I supposed to play this game?
True. I don't know. I feel like I haven't played Rebirth yet, but I hear that the battle system of that is even better. The Final Fantasy VII, the remake battle system, I thought was a really good balance of things. Yeah.
I think it took me a little bit to get used to, but I think it's okay. It's okay.
Just okay.
I mean, it's all right. You just kind of like hit enemies until they like max out on stagger, and then you spam weaknesses until the stagger bar is empty again, and then you just fill up
sure, but
again.
well, if you're gonna criticize the simplicity of it, I mean, turn-based is in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, but
was throwing a couple 2x cuts on people and just spamming whatever. Like, I mean, it's not like there was a
That's
great
true.
depth
You know,
of
that's
strategy,
fair.
and
That's fair.
yeah. I think the issue is
The
always
games
with
are not
like
hard
this.
enough to like really
when
squeeze
you-
the juice out of all their systems.
Yeah, when unfortunately when you're making RPGs for like common denominator people, you can't make it super difficult, which means if you're like not retarded, I don't know how to say that in a non-mean way, but like I see people with the Final Fantasy Tactics remake, I saw people posting that like even on Tactician, or no, the easy mode, I think, that they couldn't beat like the Dorter City battle and they thought the game was just unwinnable. And sometimes when I watch people play RPGs or games, I don't know if it's just like a different, because if you grew up playing them, you're different. You've seen like who's the documentary guy who watches the monkey with the hammer?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I know you've seen this GIF before.
The documentary guy, Monkey with a Hammer.
There's a it's a documentary, I think, or whatever. I don't even know where this comes from. I just know there's like the guy who watches the monkey trying to use the hammer and he's like smacking the nails on the board. Oh, David, is that David Attenborough? the
yeah,
guy? I didn't know that's what he actually. Okay, but yeah, I feel like that sometimes when I watch people play RPGs, so I understand why they have to make them like so simple, but
accessible. Yeah. Because I think like, especially since you played D&D before, you know this. The like making a D&D character is pretty involved. Like you have to like manage all these numbers and
Sure.
put all this equipment on, and like if you put on this kind of equipment, you're eking out this benefit, but if you put on that kind of equipment, you're eking out that benefit. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are just bad at, like there's some decision paralysis and also just like weighing pros and cons of
I
things.
guess taking
but-
a microsecond to like think about anything, yeah. But then one of the things I appreciate about Final Fantasy VII's hard mode is because it's a little bit harder. It does force you to engage with the game a little bit more. But like technically, even for Final Fantasy VII, like you could argue with the support materia and everything that there could be some depth, like to even the original game. But the game is just so easy, you never really have to explore any of it, right? You can always just like over level,
and
spam
that's
shit.
probably. It's probably like people. I would say like the biggest issue with like AAA gaming right now is like people are trying to make these games like hyper accessible, and so we're making a lot of like easy games or like heavy multiplayer games that are like live service, where players are challenged just enough to feel like that
They've
they're
accomplished something.
doing something.
Yeah.
But like anyone who like really like falls in love with a game and like plays it for like 150 hours, even though it's like a 20-hour campaign or whatever, like those people are getting sort of underserviced in kind of a weird way. But I don't know how you fix that problem without just completely changing how video games work. Like how like you
Or
budget
just going
these
back
things
to,
and-
nobody wants to do this, I guess, because it's tacky, but going back to just sticking difficulty settings at the beginning of a game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's so weird now because developers are focused on like adaptive difficulty. So if you're doing really well, you're actually probably playing a slightly harder game than someone who's doing really poorly. So I don't know how much that factors into it. I also just know that a lot of developers, even back in the day when they put in hard mode, they like will just bump the numbers up and hope the kids figure it out. Like spend
Sure.
80 hours on this one thing.
I guess one of the annoying things is that because there's a difference between like an enjoyable game for somebody that likes to be challenged versus like an enjoyable game for like an ordinary player. I'm not trying to sound elitist, but I think like the average person playing a game, like you said, they just want to feel like they're kind of like challenged. And so, but as they go through the game, they're not hitting any significant like roadblocks, but they're doing a job that is good enough to beat the game and they feel good about that. Whereas I don't know if you're the same or some, I know there are people like this. For me, like I enjoy like playing a boss, getting fucking trashed, and then having to go back and rework. Like I remember like in the original Final Fantasy VII, like some of the funnest challenges were trying to beat like did you ever beat the Midgar Zolom the first time you try to cross the patch, because you're trying to learn beta, the enemy skill materia beta, and it's like the first time you see it, and you can get a chocobo to cross, or you can try to fight him in the marsh. It's a very, 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 very difficult fight. But if you put, I don't remember how you do it. I don't know if you have elemental material and you link it with fire in your armor at that point or whatever. But there's a way to survive beta. You have to put sadness using a tranquilizer to make so you take less damage, all that bullshit. But like I don't know, like doing things like that where you die over and over again and then finally crack the code and figure it out and then beat it and move on is really fun to me. But I don't think that's enjoyable for the average player. So I don't know if RPG people would even make a difficulty like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard too because like Dark Souls is popular, so that like throws like a whole like the whole Souls and Elden Ring thing. It like throws a whole spanner into the whole thing because I feel like Dark Souls was really popular because people were feeling that way. Like, oh, there's these games aren't like really trial and error sort of.
Yeah,
challenges. Like if you
Dark
play like
Souls-
Mega Man 2, like Mega Man 2 is has a bunch of weird trial and error shit where like the floor isn't real, and so you have to use like lead bubble to like find the gaps in it. It's like, but
Yeah, I
like
understand.
nowadays,
Although
no
I
one would
will-
ever do that.
For Dark Souls, I think they get around it a little bit by making it so that the leveling system gives you such a huge variety of ways to play. Like if you watch me play through the game with 1 vigor or 10 or whatever the default is, and you have to parry every single thing to survive, that's going to be a lot different than watching like DSP play all 3 games with full Havels, fat rolling everywhere, and then drinking flasks that are restoring an entire screen's worth of HP. So in a way, 2 different players can get vastly different experiences playing literally the exact same game just because of how they level their characters.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough making video games, and I think people think like, oh well, they just needed to turn the difficulty up like it's a slider or something,
Yeah, it doesn't feel satisfying when it's
really...
like, oh, they've got like 10 times the HP. There have been a few games like that where the monsters just get like super buffed, and it's like, okay, this is kind of cringe. But then like adding new mechanics to monsters is probably difficult, and you'd be balancing like a whole separate game, which I guess is difficult too. So I don't know.
Yeah, and my biggest issue with like the whole narrative around Expedition 33 in certain circles, where it's like, oh, well, this shows that like turn-based can be really popular. I'm like, kinda. Like the Expedition 33 has a parry dodge mechanic, which kind of makes defense less of a priority. It's not a priority, but I feel like you can get through that game kind of glass canning it, being a glass cannon, and you'll be fine if you're good at the parry dodge mechanic.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's like, this is anomalous. Like, I think it sold like 8 million copies in like the first year or something. Crazy numbers. And but like when you're like, okay, so I need other examples of like turn-based games that are doing really well right now. Every Expedition 33 fan will give you like a list of excuses as to why that is. Like, oh, this game's too anime, this game's too pixel, or this game is part of the Yakuza series, so it doesn't count. Actually, it's like there's just so many like lists of excuses that people have of why like other turn-based RPGs that are like in this like Japanese RPG style just aren't doing well.
One thing I thought that Expedition 33 did well that other games have difficulty doing is combining like quick time event things that are like somewhat difficult. Like it feels like in a lot of games, as soon as QTEs are there, they're actually fucking completely retarded. Like it's like push
like
triangle,
Paper Mario.
Push square. Yeah, well, I haven't played that, but I'm thinking of like the comic games or whatever, where it's just like there are QTEs, but they're just here for you to, or like Far Cry's in the past I've played, where it's like push this and you can't really ever fail it. Whereas incorporating semi-difficult QTEs, I think in the combat system for Expedition 33 kept it feeling a lot spicier, I think.
Yeah, but like I would argue those are action elements you're adding to a turn-based game, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So when people go, oh, well, Expedition 33 shows that turn-based is really successful. I'm like, turn-based is really successful if you put in just a little bit of action for all the people who hate turn-based games.
Oh, sure. Well, I think the actual... this is a huge take I have in gaming. I don't know if you watch my politics stuff. You know, I do everything now. It's like, oh, the media, it's the media ecosystem, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for old games, one of my biggest changes of analysis for why people are like, oh, why are new games bad and old games are blah blah blah, is because for older games, like unless you were willing to read game facts, you're sitting in front of a game and you kind of have to figure all of it out. That experience is way different than having infinite wikis available to you on how to clear everything. And I think in the era of like the GameFAQ wiki or in the era of YouTube wikis, like every turn-based system will be defeated immediately. I don't think you can do turn-based games today when there are wikis online. Everything is just solved because it's like picking the right option, right? Like unless you're going to incorporate action elements, like Undertale, right? Or like Expedition 33, right? It's going to be arbitrarily easy to defeat any turn-based game, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone will tell you like the best Pictos or the best materia or the best like items you need to equip so that you can just like curb stomp this one boss. And I mean, there's some of that there's some of that like built into the game design itself. I think like before you fight Genova at the end of Disc 1 in 7, they give you something that makes you immune to water magic, and that's all that Genova does the whole fight. I think this is immediately after Aerith dies.
Oh, it's fuck, I know exactly. Oh god, it's like a
Genova Bio or whatever.
It's like a talisman, or it might be a water arm guard, or it's a piece of armor or something. And I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah, it's something you get something.
There's
water
some of that too. I know. And this is a frustration I've had with the RPG, like TTRPG community, because that's kind of where I live most of my life, is like I feel like people want experiences that are like very conciliatory toward them. So they want to feel really powerful, like, oh, I got something that makes me immune to this boss. Isn't that sick? But they don't like see all the pillars of the game design start to like crumble and fall apart. It's okay in like a single player JRPG. It's like, who cares? But like in TTRPGs, when you're working with other people and like trying to tell a story.
Hold on, for people in chat that don't know, what the fuck is TTRG?
Tabletop role playing game. So D&D, Pathfinder.
Oh, okay. I feel like those
other
games are significantly
called
different
Cthulhu.
than when I think of like turn-based game, I guess. I don't know if I even have them in the same category in my mind, I guess.
I mean, fundamentally, D&D is like a turn-based strategy game when you enter combat. But I understand what you mean. Like, it's not quite the same.
Yeah, because like the level of options available to you, and then being on like a two-dimensional grid and everything, I feel like it's even significantly different than like a Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics type game, I think. But
yeah, because Tactics kind of assumes that you're going to hit all the time. So it's like a 90 plus. Like when your accuracy drops below 90, you start getting scared. Like,
sure, yeah.
Whereas
And also,
in
just
D&D,
it feels
it's
like the amount
I
of options and everything available on your big, on your D&D or your Baldur's Gate or your, I think Pathfinders and your whatever those games. It feels like, yeah, those just feel like a game of a different type completely, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I guess what I'm trying to get at is that like sometimes you can make like those little conciliatory things towards difficulty in like a single player experience, but like in a group experience, it can be a lot more difficult.
For sure, yeah.
Sorry.
Well, because you also start compounding like player skill and everything too, to where if you have multiple players that are really intelligent, these games, you would have to make them so much more difficult to actually.
Yeah, there's no there's no like CR system that we can build if all your players are playing super well and super smart.
What a CR system? Content.
Challenge rating. That's for D&D where
of course.
You're trying to build monster encounters. Sorry, I'm so entrenched that sometimes I forget that people don't.
Yeah, my bad.
I'm
a fucking
interact
casual,
with my nerd shit that way.
Fucking loser, my bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess back to the main point is I think my biggest frustration with the compilation, which is all the stuff that they released after the original Final Fantasy VII, including the remakes, is that I feel like I feel like a lot of characters just end up feeling mischaracterized or strange. Less so with the remakes. I feel like characters are mostly okay. And I just don't love all the... you beat Remake, right? But you haven't played Rebirth?
Correct.
Okay, so I don't like all the like weird shit that shows up in like, was it chapter like 14 or 15, where it's like, well, there's ghosts and those called the Whispers of Fate, and they're trying to like change the story, and all the build up to like Sephiroth and the
I don't know if this is like a big
Tower.
like meta thing for me, or if I'm just pulling this feeling out of nowhere. But I like the Ghosts of Fate thing. Meta to me feels like, so. What was like one of the biggest things, Fuck, I don't know if you remember this. Maybe this is like a cultural thing. There were two huge things that I remember growing up that everybody wanted to be able to do in a video game. One was how do you catch Mew without a Game Shark, okay? That was one. I don't know if you ever played Red Blue or whatever, but they were like, you have to go to, I think it was like Cerulean City or something, or Vermilion. You can go to like this truck area, and there was no way to do it. I don't think there was ever any way in the original to catch Mew, except for by doing like a screen loading glitch. I don't think it was in the game. You had to have them traded to you at like official Pokemon events or whatever. And then the second was, how do you revive Aeris? Like, these are like the huge things growing up where everybody's like, how do you revive Aeris? How do you revive Aeris? So I feel like when the Final Fantasy VII remake came, I feel like in older people's minds, it was like, oh my God, is there a way to save Aeris so that she doesn't die this time? And I feel like that's like a big question that was on older players' minds. And then when I look at like this Ghost of Fates thing, it feels like a meta story guidance thing where it's like, you want the story to change in this way, but it's not going to be able to because these guys are here to kind of keep it on track. And if I remember correctly, I think Aeris even has a conversation with Cloud where even she seems to have some kind of like prescient knowledge or other universal knowledge about that, because she's like, hey, we're not going to smash Don't Fall for me because I'm probably going to fucking die. I don't know if that is intentional, if I'm reading too much into that, but that's kind of but I also haven't played Rebirth at all yet, but that's like the feeling that I have on it. Yeah.
I feel sort of similarly, where I think that's what they're trying to get at. My big issues with that stuff is, I understand the want to like, oh, I really like this character. It's a shame they died. But to me, it's like you're fucking up the whole like thing. Like if Aerith doesn't die, the whole like thematic and narrative like points that Final Fantasy VII is trying to make about like life, death, and everything in between is like all kind of not all of it. There's still like good stuff in there, but I feel like that
Potentially, yeah.
desire
This
is at conflict with what the game is trying to achieve narratively, right?
Maybe, but this is why I also say like, and again, not to shit on that because this is probably one of my favorite games of all time. I just don't know if there's that much depth in like Final Fantasy VII story. Maybe just because it's an English translated game, but like, I don't know if I would ever say like, oh, like if you really want a game that thematically shows the importance of sacrifice or something. Like, I mean, like it is there. But I feel like thematically, everything in Final Fantasy VII is, at least in a lot of the older Final Fantasy, is just kind of weak. It's just kind of floating on the surface. It doesn't. But maybe I'm just.
I get that, but to me, it's still an artistic expression, no matter how simple it
Sure,
is. So to
yeah.
me, it's like
It
you're
does
taking
undermine
and
a
you're
lot of
like,
the game,
oh, let me
right?
twist this part. Let me pull this arm off. Let me put this different like gun arm on or whatever. And it's like this is. It's fun. The games are fun, and the story can be interesting, but it is a little goofy when you're trying to talk to people about like the cultural impacts that Final Fantasy VII had, and it's like, oh, well, everyone's just thinking of these Whispers of Fate parts that don't matter, or like when you have to hang out with a like Leslie in Sector 5 or Wall Market or whatever. It's like that's never happened in the original, but the ghosts don't care about that, I guess.
Well, probably because they don't
there's
make a
so many,
substantial impact on that, on the Eris dying thing, right? Which was kind of like one of the most
yeah,
important
but like
hinge
Barrett
points of-
dies, right, and then they jump in for that. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Thanks for the spoiler, motherfucker. But if they do
It
jump in
happens
for that, then
remake.
that
What are you talking
reinforces.
about? At the top of Shinra Towers, Sephiroth stabs Barrett, and then you fight Genova, and then Barrett gets revived by the Whispers of Fate. That happens in remake.
Oh shit, maybe I just don't remember because I played that game like 7 years ago. So, but okay, well I'll get back.
I obsessed over this. I remember writing like a big thing about it, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not that mad anymore. I just gave up.
Oh, okay. Well,
All right. Well,
I also feel like there's like this kind of weird thing where sometimes people are. I'm obsessed with like tight themes, like where everything kind of like makes sense, and sometimes I feel like people mistake convoluted additions to things as like somehow making it deeper. And I don't know if that's always the case. I could just be a huge hater of this
Yeah.
particular writer guy because people cite him as the one behind like Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3 and everything. And I don't know, maybe that's true, maybe that's not true.
Nomura. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes it feels like things can get a little bit convoluted. And then people are like, oh, it's deeper because it's like adding all this extra
So
shit.
deep. It's so enigmatic. It's so deep. I don't know what's happening, so it's so deep. Yeah.
I really do feel like Metal Gear Solid 3 was peak everything, but that's just maybe my age showing. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a game that really spoke to me. I think the greatest like media pieces that I've had are usually like movies, television, and books. When I think about games always like were goofy narratively to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's pretty hard.
It all feels like we're like circling the same drain. Like God of War is like the same story of like a dad needs to reconnect with his son, and
Shonen.
you just watch how this like what is it, Lone Wolf and Cub. So it's like Last of Us and God of War feel similar thematically in some ways. And to me, it's like, what are we really like? We're really stroking ourselves off to like basic character arcs and stuff, but you know, it's whatever.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I mean, I guess it is probably hard. It's probably hard too, though, when you're playing the game and you identify with the main character so much to be able to do a lot more there because you're probably somewhat restricted, right? You saw because like people lost their minds for The Last of Us 2. People got completely mind
For
fucked
sure.
on that.
I mean, there's a little bit of a. I mean, I don't have to tell you. There's a little bit of chuddery going on. The fucking.
Well, I mean,
the
there's
entire media landscape is getting
there's-
fucked. Where like.
I'm sure there's a bit of
God.
chuddery, but also I'm sure that it just probably also does feel shitty if you've played like through as a main character. Like I'm sure there were legitimate complaints there as well. Not complaints. When I say
I see
legitimate
what you're
complaints, I
saying,
don't mean
yeah.
like good attacks against the narrative decisions they made in the second game, but I mean legitimate complaints as in people who weren't just weird or transphobic or hating on the chud landscape or whatever, who just were like, oh fuck, well I really liked Joel in the entire first game and then he, you know, died and now I kind of feel shitty about that. Like I'm sure those people exist.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm sure like normal. There are people who are normal about it. I thought you were talking about something else, but I just feel, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing is that since all AAA gaming is like it's the same as like Hollywood films. You kind of it seems like you have to really shake these developers and writers to like get something more interesting than like a basic superhero film. So
I do think that was also another thing that I think Expedition 33 did well, even though I would argue that there was a proper, mentally healthy resolution to that game. I think that I think I could see both options. I could see why somebody would argue for both options. And it feels pretty rare in video games that you actually have like two different paths to choose between that are both like mutually understandable or satisfying. Like it seems like there's always a pretty clear right or wrong, and that the right is even rewarded with in-game like items and shit.
Yeah, or it's like comical. Like being right is like you're an angel chosen by the gods,
Sure.
and if you're wrong, you're a devil chosen by the demons.
Kind of
It's like,
something almost,
it's
yeah.
kind of-
Yeah.
because it seems comical. I mean, Mass Effect had Paragon and Renegade, but even then, it's like you're either rude or you're nice about being a hero. You
Yeah.
gotta choose.
Sure, yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to relitigate the entirety. You will have to remind me though. The ending of Expedition 33, I believe the choice is like destroy the entire like
Universe canvas thing.
canvas, and then or you let it exist even though it's not real.
Kind of, yeah.
Right?
But thematically, I
Yeah,
think the
so-
choice is like, do you engage with your grief by going to the real world where bad shit happened and you have to like make amends with that and continue on, or do you build like a fantastic version of yourself and your family and then live forever in delusion, to the detriment of the people in the real world you're leaving behind, but to your own purpose? It's like an extended metaphor of like the have you ever heard in philosophy the concept of like the experience machine?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
basically
mean, it's basically that meme, like the big like masturbation thing, like Harry Potter wine or whatever. Everyone's like,
what the
just
fuck
leave
is
them
that?
alone. They're enjoying things. Oh, are you serious? You don't know this meme? Let me see if I can find it.
Harry Potter wine.
I know what you mean. The experience machine where like everything's positive and good.
No, yeah, we know that. What is the Harry
but
Potter?
it's not.
Wait, somebody says you've
it's like
seen
a
it.
weird machine. Let me see. Where's this meme?
Oh, the mirror. Never mind. I know what you're talking about.
okay.
I'm sorry. I know what you're talking about. Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, so I sort of get it. I was going to ask you, so you played Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
Have you played Tactics Advance? Because I feel like Tactics Advance also touches on that. Like,
Oh, no.
no, he hates the kids.
It's the kids. I couldn't do it. I think maybe I was just too old when
They're
it came
throwing
out.
snowballs at each other
Yeah.
at the start. You
And
have to,
I didn't
learn
really
how
like
to,
the fucking judge shit, and I don't even know if I don't think I
Oh,
finished
judge
that
shit
game.
is annoying. Fair and real.
I also feel like there was this thing where maybe it was just the games that I played, or maybe I was just an edgy boy growing up. I feel like I managed to bounce through a lot of like pretty dark games. Like I feel like Final Fantasy VII, even amongst I think the Final Fantasy VII was like a fairly dark game. Tactics was a very dark game. I would say the Metal Gear Solids were pretty dark games. Booting up Tactics
Yeah.
Advance and having like the snowball fights and the kids and everything. Even going back and trying to play, and again, maybe it's just my age, so I didn't have the same nostalgia feelings. I couldn't get through Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger felt like very, very light, even though I love the music and everything from that game. Yeah, it felt very light. I went back and I played Final Fantasy VI for the first time when I was like 24 or something. 6 felt pretty dark. Compared to
Yeah, I mean,
so I feel like I grew up with a lot of darker media, and then sometimes the media feels like Final Fantasy VII Remake right now. It feels like a much lighter, bubblier game than the Final Fantasy VII original game felt.
yeah, and I think that's one of the criticisms people have too of like the remake and rebirth is that there's a lot of scenes in those games where it feels like they're fucking taking a second to like goof off. But I mean, to be fair to the original, you watch Aerith die and then you snowboard down a mountain like immediately after.
Well, sure, but I mean, it's not like what's your
It's
point?
not the same.
What's your point?
It's not the same.
Yeah, fuck you.
My point is
You have to get
Final
down the
Fantasy-
mountain. How are you going to get down the mountain if you're not going to snowboard, motherfucker? All right. What were they supposed to ski?
I mean, he could have. He's supposed to be super soldier, right? Or is
Sure.
all that just a fake memory? There you go. We brought it back, everybody.
Yeah. Even the animes, I guess, growing up that I watched felt a little bit darker back then. Have you ever? Fuck, I haven't watched that many, so it feels embarrassing that this is the most recent one I watched all the way through. But have you ever heard of Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah. I've watched all of Hunter x Hunter.
I
the
feel like
2011 version. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I'm being honest, I'm pretty sure I'm just booming like really hard. But I was going back and I was rewatching some of the, because they like remade Hunter x Hunter, right?
Yeah, in 2011.
Yeah, I was rewatching, so I watched the 2011 version all the way through, and then I was just watching parts of like the older one, and man, I don't know, I feel like I gravitate more towards the older animation styles. I don't even think it's like a choice just because it's digital now, but it's a choice to everything just looks like so much brighter and happier, and it just looks so different. I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying? They also remade Rurouni Kenshin. I was looking at newer Rurouni Kenshin, and the older stuff just it looked darker, and it felt darker too.
Yeah, so I feel you 100%. I will speak for the trees here. This is you also like Gundam Wing, which I'm pretty sure everyone considers like the goofiest, like most good guy versus bad guy Gundam show out of all of them. I don't know if you've watched any of the other Gundams.
No, I have watched some of the other Gundams, but like rewatching Gundam Wing is fairly cringe. That's like I don't know if I would necessarily call Gundam Wing like a very dark or edgy anime. Like it's dark and edgy insofar as it's like, but like there were was it War in the Pocket, the one where the guy accidentally kills the woman that he's in love with, he doesn't realize it, and then like, oh wait, the mess team with the main character falling in love with the blue-haired chick in the armor, those were much darker Gundams than like I feel like a lot of the alternate universe Gundams were a little goofy. Like the Shining Finger guy, I don't remember which Gundam that was.
Oh yeah,
called.
G Gundam.
Yeah, G Gundam and Gundam Wing were a little bit goofier for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was just giving you a little shit. But
But like I've never described.
I agree that like some older media, especially Japanese media, was more willing to like tackle darker stuff. I just think we're in a weird environment now where anytime anyone does anything interesting, it's all about like, it's just not, people just don't want to like go to the cinema and feel uncomfortable, I guess, is how I feel about it. Is like no one wants to sit down with a piece of media that makes them like question like, do I believe the right things?
Maybe, yeah. I think there's also this weird thing too, and this is really hard to communicate, is that like darker doesn't just necessarily mean like violent. Like it sounds weird to say, but like I wouldn't consider like the Wolfenstein remake games. I think I played both. I loved them. I know I love the first one. If I replayed the second one, I would have loved that one too. I don't think I would consider those games to be dark at all. Like they're almost more like slapsticky kind of in terms of like there's violence and stuff, but I don't know if I would consider either of those a dark game, even though it's literally like the Nazis own the world and are doing all this crazy killing and everything. And I feel like sometimes people mistake like just violence and blood with darkness. Like I would consider The Last of Us 1 and 2 to be pretty dark games, but not because they have violence. Yeah. So I feel like at some point people got
tactics as a
Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. I don't know why, but I feel like both of those games I would consider fairly dark as well. There's just something about, especially
Ocarina of Time.
I feel like in Ocarina of Time, I feel like it's really weird when you go forward as an adult and you're going through all of the towns and cities and like all the Gorons are like dead and gone. I think in Hyrule, or what do you call the main town? Is it Hyrule? Like all the citizens are like
market or whatever.
Yeah, they're like long-armed weird people, and like the whole world is just kind of like fucking destroyed. Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Ocarina of Time. I feel like any of the Zeldas that had like the past world and future world. I think there was one called A Link to the Past on the Nintendo.
Super Nintendo, yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of dark. I don't know. It feels dark to me.
I mean, I guess I'm thinking in comparison to Majora's Mask, where like you're actually watching people have like psychological breakdowns. It feels a little different. But to your point, I think Final Fantasy Tactics is a very dark game because it's like there's a lot of themes about like how like our systems can negatively affect us and how we can negatively affect them, and like how institutions tend to like gravitate towards power at any cost, and how that
for sure.
Like,
okay,
like,
so
there's
here's
human cost to that and stuff, but like in terms of violence, like there's like barely any blood in the game, and everyone looks like a little
they're little like anime character weirdo. Yeah, here's the thing for Final Fantasy Tactics. Okay, I don't know why. This is gonna be such a random poll. Did you ever play Dust in Elysian Tale or watch me play this game a long time ago?
Yes, I love Dust.
There was and there are a couple other indie games where it's very clear. When you listen to the game, and then two, if you watch any of like the directors working behind the scenes with the voice actors, they put a lot of effort into making the voice acting, I would say, very, very, very good in these games. Like something that I wonder when I look at a lot of the JRPG stuff, and I especially because now I don't know if my clips ever get back to these people, because apparently these people are online, and I don't mean to attack any of the voice actors or anything, but like I would say like the VA for this Final Fantasy remake game is not that great. But
They changed him. They changed Zach. Yeah.
sure, or no, I'm for remake. Is Zach even in remake? I'm just saying,
Are
like
you
in
talking about
general.
Zach's VA? Or
No,
whose
all of
VA?
it. It's just I feel like it's
all
not
of
that
it.
great. But I was actually so shocked. So I played the original Final Fantasy Tactics, one of my favorite games of all time. I never played I don't know what the next one, the War of the Lions or whatever, because the idea of them
Yeah, the re-release for
rewriting,
PSP.
rewriting the dialogue to be Old English and then having a voice acting for that just seemed cringe as fuck. When I actually played through it a year ago, I thought it was like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, top notch. I thought the rewriting was really well done, and the voice acting I thought was really well done. Where are those
It's
people?
so good, right?
Yeah, why don't they work on
Finally.
any of the other games? I thought all of the writing, because I hate especially like remaking it in the old, it just seemed like it was going to be cringe as fuck. It was really, really, really well done. And the voice acting was really, really, really well done. Where are those people at?
I know for sure. I'm not looking at your chat, but I know for sure someone in chat's like hating, like, oh, I love the 1997 translation. No, the 1997 translation.
It was
sucks.
trash.
You don't know anything.
Blame
It's
yourself
so
for
bad.
God. There was so many random funny lines and the name changing and the weirdo. Yeah, sorry, God.
To be fair, I will say is I think they worked with the same people that they worked on 16 with. I don't know. I don't know what the consensus. I like 16's acting. I think the guy who plays Dice Dark is Ben Starr, and he plays the main character in 16. And outside of when he's trying to be young Clive Rossfield, he does a good job. I think his young Clive voice is a little goofy sometimes.
Gotcha.
But the very clearly a grown man doing like a 16-year-old boy's voice.
Okay.
But I agree with you somewhat. I think Joe Pitts was a new talent, the guy who did Ramza. So it's a little more complicated than like, why don't they just get Joe Pitts on it? Like, I think Joe Pitts has been in like 3 games, and one of them is like Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Okay, interesting. One of the things I feel when it comes to the voice acting, especially this game too, there's just a feeling I have, and I don't know if it matters. And I'm sure even in normal voice acted stuff, you're not in the same room, but like it really does feel like you're given a script and then you're just like recording voice line 1 and recording voice line 2, and then like all the other voice actors do it. And then when they go to the game, they're like, okay, well here's here's track 1, play, and then there's thing on the screen. And then next, here's track 2, play, and then it all feels like very kind of like disconnected. I feel like the emotion is not as there for the lines, and yeah, I don't know. It's just like
Yeah,
a feeling
I think
get from it.
Especially for Rebirth, I think it was probably like a combination of like they probably I don't know if they recorded during COVID, maybe not. But like I can see that causing issues. I don't know. My biggest issue with Rebirth's voice acting is that it's just it feels like it. I don't know. It's always weird to like play a game and then see all the text written out and then have someone actually read it out loud, and you're like, I don't know if I would have. That's
Wait,
always
you
strange
cut off
to
for a
me.
second.
But like,
Wait.
oh, sorry.
Oh, you said I don't know if I would have. Oh, what? Enunciated it like that?
Like you read text and then you have someone voice act it, and you're like, I don't know if I would have read it like that. Like I don't know
sure.
if I read that line that way.
I'm a huge
And
believer in not having subtitles on things. Or sometimes I wish. I think I saw this in John Wick, and then and maybe 1 or 2 other pieces of media where where they're a little bit more creative with the subtitles with how they roll them on the screen. But I actually think it is insane to me that you would spend time writing a script, having people act it out, or directing a movie, and then you would just literally throw up on the bottom like the whole line, and then you read it and you've processed it, and now you're listening to the person say it. I feel like it's a fundamentally different experience than just having somebody deliver a line, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's always aspects to it. Like it's supposed to be an accessibility thing, but I think it's
become a handicap
audio,
crutch thing, I think.
Maybe, but for like something like Tenet, where like no one can hear the lines.
Sure, but we're not talking about Tenet, and this canola is fucking retarded anyway.
But I don't know. I thought the voice acting in the remake trilogy is okay. I don't like how they're switching out Sephiroth's voice actor. I think just because the main guy just didn't want to do it, and that's like my biggest thing is like this one game you could have is being split into 3 games released over the course of a decade. So of course stuff like that's going to happen. But it feels so weird to have like a pillar of the story switch voice actors for the final part of it, for the most important part of it.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't heard the change yet, so but.
I think they went from who is it? He played Superman on like the CW Superman show, and then I think they switched over to Travis Willingham, which is fine. He's doing okay from the trailers I've seen. But what? Oh, also another thing. I don't know if you know this, but the voice acting is really good in Final Fantasy Tactics. It's also full of
Wait. You cut out again. It's also full of what?
Oh, British people, bongers.
Oh, maybe. I heard somebody in chat say that. Maybe they take it more seriously. I'm not sure. I really do just
I'm not
blame...
sure.
After watching so much of the behind-the-scenes stuff on the Dust stuff, like listening to the director, or I don't know if it was a voice actor director or just the director of the whole project, work with the voice actors on that, I really... And maybe I'm just like... Maybe I just over-index on this too much. But like it really does feel like a VA is the result of just the director, because like he would walk through with the ferret, the emote in chat is Ferret Law. I don't remember the name, but I just think watching him go with the voice actors, like he might have a person say the line like 4 or 5 times and be like you need to like you're feeling this part here, like and give me this here, whatever. And he was very big on like every single line coming out in a certain way. Whereas sometimes for these it really just feel like almost like a high school script read. Like just like a first read through when you're sitting with friends in a theater thing and you're just like reading the script the first time or whatever. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, and especially it's tough for Japanese games too because they're constantly trying to match like what the Japanese the visuals of the game or the Japanese voice actors are doing.
I mean, like at this point,
so, like,
I'm sure we have the tech to just do a second take on. You're just moving the models a little differently. It shouldn't be that hard, no. Maybe in 2016, maybe a little harder, but
I mean, I guess I'm thinking more like in anime, they don't do that. They don't like redraw lip flaps. That'd be insane. But you're right. You're probably right. I think in Kingdom Hearts, like the first Kingdom Hearts game that came in like 2002, they figured out how to do that. So I'm sure it's like not hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think there was like I remember watching an interview with one of the localizers for Final Fantasy X, and he was talking about how he wanted to change a line to be more thematically like consistent between like Auron and Tidus and his dad. I don't know if you played 10, but
Is it really Tidus? It's not Titus?
I think
Sorry, go ahead.
Call him whatever you want.
Okay.
In all official stuff, they call him Tidus, but if you want to call him Titus because that's what you call him in your head, that's fine. But Titus and his dad, and I forget exactly what the line was, but they were working on it, and then they told the main writer, I think it was it Koizumi? It might not have been. Wait, is that a Nintendo guy? Names. But he was talking about it, and the guy was like, yeah, the Japanese director was like, yeah, that makes more sense, and if I were to rewrite it, I might even write it that way, but you can't do it that way. And
sure.
He was like, okay.
Dude, have you read, this is a crazy, interesting, and entertaining article. Did you ever read the article that was written by the translator of the first Metal Gear Solid 1 game?
Oh, no. I don't think I have.
Oh, if you ever get bored, it's a fascinating read because the industry was so much smaller. But basically, it was a guy who was given the Japanese script to translate who was working on Metal Gear Solid 1. But he took a lot of creative liberty with that script because he was like, there's a difference. And it is true, right? Like, do you watch a lot of fucking anime or whatever? You know, like Horrible Subs and...
I used to, but not as much these days.
Same, yeah, there's no time. You remember like the debates back in the day where sometimes with some subtitles, they would translate a word like a little bit more literally and it wouldn't make sense, but then they would have like a little block of subtext in the top right of the screen to explain to you like what that word means.
Oh, yeah, translations note.
Yeah, like kind of like stuff like this, right? Yeah. When this guy was translating, he spoke a lot on Metal Gear Solid 1. He's like, translation is not just a translation. It's like a localization and an adaptation to like modern like speakers in this context, and that if he would have translated it directly, a lot of it wouldn't have made sense. So he took a lot of creative liberties with some lines. So like I think he says like he made up like the OSP term for like on-site procurement. Like he made up like different acronyms and he was like adding flavor and everything to a lot of the characters. Apparently when Hideo found out about this, I don't know if it was when they were doing Metal Gear Solid 2 or a later one, Hideo got really upset. But if you're ever bored, that article that's a fascinating read on his take on translating everything, and it added a lot of the flavor I think in Metal Gear Solid 1, which I thought was really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there is some people really like the like auteur or sort of that like more loose liberal approach to like translation. Mm-hmm. And I don't I tend to be a little bit more like, can we just like I want the art to stand on its own as much as possible. So like I understand liberties have to be taken, but I'd like it to be as close to like what the original Japanese script was like, if you can. But I know that some people really like the old Ted Woolsey like Final Fantasy 1, 4, and 6. Like I don't know if Ted actually worked on 1, but his translation of 6 and Chrono Trigger have like Star Wars references in them and stuff. Some people think that's like cute and fun, and I think it's an abomination to God. Like, get this shit out of here. I do not want Locke joking about, or like Celis joking about stormtroopers or some shit.
Sure. Well, yeah. Why do you think Metal Gear Solid 1, I feel like Hideo, was he actively involved in the voice acting for that? I feel like the VA for those games were ahead of their time. Or maybe they just got really lucky with David Hayter. Wait, hold on.
I have no idea.
Did you play through the Metal Gear Solid games?
I've not. That's
Okay,
a
never
blind
mind,
spot
okay.
for me.
There's like a asking question of like, do you support them replacing David Hayter in Metal Gear Solid 5 with that fucking 24 Ben Bauer guy or whatever the fuck? What a horrible decision. But okay, never mind.
Oh, all I'll say is that you aren't even playing Snake in Metal Gear Solid 5. Fuck you.
Well, true, but that's not relevant, is it?
Well, I'm being a dick. But the
Or wait, what do you mean by that?
You play Venom Snake, which is a different person to Big Boss.
Oh, yeah, sure, okay. I didn't know if that was a comment on the voice actor. Because technically in Metal Gear Solid 3, you're also not playing Snake, you're playing Big Boss, right?
You're playing Big Boss, but yeah, he's also voiced by David Hayter.
Sure. Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't know. Metal Gear Solid 5 sounds like it was developed by fucking torture victims. Like everyone involved with that project is like, man, I'm so
it
glad
also got
that was over.
way too edgy. The trailers for that game and in the game, it's like the edgiest possible fucking tortures. I don't know, it just feels too amped up for no reason, but whatever.
Yeah, I apologize. I haven't played it. I can't speak to it.
That's good. You never got to go through. For real life people, Game of Thrones was like the greatest letdown of all time. For gaming people, it was probably Metal Gear Solid 5. Those were some of the. There are people on stream that remember. Those were some of the most fucking hype video game trailers of all time that we watched. And then the actual game was just attaching balloons to everything and then having them float off and then finding out that Hideo foot scanned fucking whatever the quiet girl is so that she could be as naked as possible. It's just, the game is just, it's too much. But what are you going to do?
I love the quiet controversy. Although I was very Republican at the time, so I remember being like, just let the lady hang. But I don't know what your take was at the time.
It was just the way that he justified it, I think, was cringe. It just got a little cringe. And she's like super booba, like way too. It was also weird because I don't know if I'm inventing this in my mind, but in Metal Gear Solid, okay, so nanomachines are like the ultimate plot device to basically explain or do anything you want. And so it would have been interesting. Okay, in my mind, it's hard if you haven't played the games to understand this. But like Metal Gear Solid 1 was like, whoa, nanomachines and extra tech and cloaking, and that's kind of cool. And then Metal Gear Solid 2 was like, whoa, they're really amping up the tech and nanomachines and vampires and fortune and oh man, okay, damn. And then Metal Gear Solid 3 was like, we're going back in time, no nanomachines, and shit actually felt like more grounded. Like there was like kind of like magical stuff, which was like, it felt like interesting and kind of cool, and it gave it like a really weird flavor, like the B controller guy, the death dude or whatever. But like they didn't have, but it was like older tech and it felt older, like the Metal Gear in that time, the Shagohod, even though it was clearly like a machine you could never have.
Don't you still have like the camouflage stuff, or maybe that might be in the 3DS version. The for Metal Gear Solid 3, doesn't your suit auto camouflage or something?
I don't think so. I don't know if that ever happened.
Oh, okay. No, wait. I'm thinking of 4. My bad.
Yeah, 4 gets crazy tech into the future and everything and tries to wrap up literally every single fucking thing. And then in 5, we are like, okay, cool. We're going to get more of like the flavor from 3. So in 5, number 1, you get literally the most sophisticated Gundam mech of all time, Salanthropus or whatever, for their Metal Gear, which is crazy. It's like an actual fucking Gundam tier mech. Number 1. And then number 2, they bring up this concept of like the Wahabakia or whatever, which is basically now their new version of nanomachines. Okay, so I've caught you up all that. And then the cringe thing that I'm thinking of, I don't think I hallucinated this, but they retconned in Metal Gear Solid 3, there is a sniper guy called, I don't remember what he's called. The End. No, it couldn't have been the End, is it? I thought that was the guy in the river. Is it the End?
I guess.
Oh, it might be the End. Maybe it is the End. And then, okay, yeah. Oh, no, the river guy is the Sorrow. That's right. So he is called the End. And then I think at some point in a tape call, you hear that like, oh, well, the End had the Wabakia that allowed him to regenerate in the sunlight or something. But that guy was never fucking naked. He was wearing a fully clothed fucking camo suit the entire time. So why does Quiet need to be borderline naked? It feels kind of cringe. Also, why doesn't she like have problems like inside? Like, shouldn't indoors be just as bad as her, like, being covered in salt water or whatever else?
I thought it was like she had to breathe through her skin, but not through her, like, respiratory system or some shit. I don't know. It's cringe.
Yeah, it didn't need to. It was too much, yeah. I feel like they did a decent thing of, like, balancing, especially in kind of a campy, tropey, 90s appropriate James Bondy way. Or not as bad as James Bond, I guess, because the Brosnan James Bond shit was, I think Is that the guy? I don't
You
know.
can just do whatever.
Like
Or was
every
it- is
single
it-
there were so many more sexual references in those movies than I originally realized. But like you had like the sniper wolf lady would kind of like, she was very sexy and had her cleavage out a little bit, but it wasn't like crazy fucking sex. And then same thing with Metal Gear Solid
Yeah.
3, it wasn't like crazy sex. And then Quiet was just like holy jiggle physics on the crazy booba girl. Yeah.
I wonder how much of that it was Konami. But I guess so. You mentioned that Metal Gear Solid 2 gets like crazier with the nanomachines and like the tech stuff.
For sure.
Do you think that helps the thematic like through line of that game at all, where it's like trying to like get Raiden and Snake to be the same person, even though they're like
No, I
very-
mean, I
they have
think
very different
so.
backgrounds?
I would say I would exempt Metal Gear Solid games from the whole like JRPGs never really did deep theme exploration. I think the Metal Gear Solid games actually dealt a lot with identity, which I super appreciated. And I thought in like in a very interesting way. Like the first game, I don't know if Hideo probably, I don't know if this counts as a backronym or not, but like the MGS, in a story way, is like the first game has to do with your genes, your genetics, and how you spend the whole game thinking that one guy had the superior genetics, Liquid got the worst genetics, but then you find out it was reversed at the end and you actually have more control over yourself than just your genes. And then the second one has to do with like the I think the memes surrounding you or whatever, mimetic ideas, and can we create another Solid Snake through Raiden, giving him like the same set of experiences. And then in the third one, it's like the scene, the context of what you're in, how much does that shape and create a soldier or whatever. And I feel like it actually does a lot to explore a lot of these, although as a result, I mean, the games are known for being incredibly dialogue heavy and exposition heavy and FMV heavy. But
Yeah, that's another thing is like if you try to have like a really story heavy game, you gotta like test your gamer, like all the gamer goblin brain people are like, when can I kill people? When can I kill people?
Yeah.
It's like,
I think, does Metal Gear Solid 4 still have the record for like the longest cutscene? And isn't it like 43 minutes or something for the end of that game?
it's got to go to one of his new ones, right? I feel like Death Stranding 1 or 2 has to have crazy long.
Nope,
cutscenes.
sorry, I was
That's
even
chat.
wrong on that. I underestimated. It was the game's climax for the combined epilogue sequence that runs for Metal Gear Solid 4 is 71 minutes.
It's Jesus. Watching a whole movie at the end of the fucking video game you purchased.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
While I have you here, I just wanted to. I've been getting into Warcraft 3, and I was going to ask you what you
That's
thought
really
about Warcraft
interesting.
3. Is.
I never played any Warcraft
Uh,
games, so I don't have a strong experience. But I mean,
Oh,
they're probably
you've
somewhat...
never played any of them?
No, but they're probably similar to StarCraft, I imagine, right?
From my understanding, my limited experience with StarCraft 2, they feel fairly similar.
Mm-hmm.
Although Warcraft 3 has like the whole hero system. You play League of Legends. Oh man, you play League of Legends, and we're a professional StarCraft 2 player, and you've never touched Warcraft 3. That's crazy to me.
Nope. Never played
man.
the original Dota ever at all.
The original Dota, that makes a little more. Well, I mean, yeah, you
'Cause I never
couldn't
played
have
Warcraft,
if you've never
yeah.
played Warcraft 3. That's crazy to me. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun game. I don't know if you'll do it on stream. I think you probably want to do politics the second this like MSJ gets fucking ruled on in like
Yeah,
I don't know
just
when I
an
get
hour or
married,
two, I
like,
think.
40 years from now or
Shut
something.
the fuck up.
I do like talking about video games, but I'll never talk about politics. I don't know if chat really wants fucking disagreements about that shit. Jesus.
Well, okay. I think that's
I think
all I
we've
got.
ran the course. I think Zach sucks. He's the. Oh, you know what? If you're gonna play Rebirth, you will get some time with Zach. You won't get a lot of time though.
Yeah, I've
because
heard.
of the goofy shit that they did at the end. Have you played Intergrade?
No, but I'll play that in between.
the
Apparently, it's
goofy
just a few
episode.
hours to clear it all. So
Yeah, it's like 10 hours. If you play like when I played it, I played all the little like Fort Condor missions
Mm-hmm.
that they give you. So I played all those, and I think even then it was like 10 hours or something.
it was funny in the very first Final Fantasy. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but the reason why that game is on 3 discs is just because the FMVs were so long. Like technically, you can fit the whole game
Yeah,
on a
I mean
single
that
disc.
was the big thing with Square and Nintendo, right? They were like, "Oh, we want more storage. We don't want to.
So, well,
we
Square, I
don't
don't
want to be
know.
restricted by like."
I don't think Nintendo ever had
this
like
cartridge.
multi-cartridge games. I don't even know if that would have been technologically
No,
possible.
they didn't. But that was why Square wanted to switch to Sony and PlayStations because they could do their big like cinematic shit without getting in trouble with like storage capacity and all that.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah. I do remember the
Although
first time I played...
somehow Black Magic Resident Evil 2 is on the N64 somehow.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even know that. The very first time I played through 7, because the FMVs, they can't make multiple FMVs. It's only 1 second, so they take up so much space. I actually totally missed Vincent and Yuffie my first playthrough on that game. And but you don't know it because it's not like they're included in any of the later FMVs, so you can just miss them completely. And
You missed Yuffie entirely?
yeah, because there was no way to know. You just have to randomly encounter in a jungle. Other than that, there's no way. Like before you get to Junin, I think.
Maybe. I just know that when I played the game, I knew everything. So like I knew how to get Yuffie and Vincent. So,
Oh, sure.
But I feel like it'd be hard to miss Yuffie. You just like run into a forest and she's there.
If you get lucky and encounter her in a fight.
Yeah, but I feel like the rates on that are high.
They might be, but I don't even know.
You also said in the original fun.
I don't know if she appears on a normal battle on the map. I think you have to be on like the grassy areas as well, and you can just skip those. Like you don't have to run through those. I don't think to get to Junin. So yeah,
it's not crazy to me that someone would miss Yuffie. I was just.
I mean, it's literally one section. You come out of the cave, you go to Fort Condor, and then from Fort Condor you go to Junin, and then if you just don't go in the forest, you just never even encounter her, and you have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Fuck you.
I thought you said the original Final Fantasy, and I thought you were about to talk about Final Fantasy 1. And I'm like,
oh no.
That game is also goofy, because that's like it's a 10-hour RPG where like the main thing that's fun about that game is like making a different party. And then like the story is some bullshit about like a time loop is causing like the king to show back up to fight you in darkness and lose all the crystals and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy 1 has such a goofy, like weird aesthetic. I think you go ahead and like a UFO at some point in that fucking game.
Nice. Okay. Well, anything else?
No. But I hope you have a good rest of your day, buddy. I actually do hope that MSJ comes quickly. Hope everything goes well with that.
All right. Have fun. Be careful. Thanks a lot. Stay safe.
All right. Bye-bye.
Fucking loser. Somebody said, I found a way to catch a Mew legit. It does involve Cerulean City. Is it the one behind the truck? I don't think that's like a really legit way to get Mew. It has to do with I don't remember, but it has to do with the way that the Nintendo the Game Boy's RAM works. And that, like, depending on where you move in and out of a screen, you can, like, store certain things in memory, and then you can force an encounter with Mew. But it's not really part of the game, really. You're right, but no truck involved? Okay. I remember it being isn't it a place where after the ship leaves, isn't that where you go to catch Mew? That's the truck area. Or why am I saying truck? Maybe there's not a truck there. Or is it? How to catch Mew legally. Whew. If you catch him the other way, it's illegal. You mean the missing no glitch? No, I don't know if there was ever a way to get Mew doing that one.
Abra. We're gonna use it for its teleportation abilities and to glitch the game.
The truck was the rumor when we were kids. I do know there were a lot of rumors about that truck, yeah. That you could find them behind the truck or something. But I don't remember if there was like a way to load a different screen or something there.
Is at least move once, just doesn't matter.
But maybe it's not. It might not have been anything. I might just be remembering the meme rumor about that.
You know your pause menu and Mew will appear. Now with
here, watch this. Let me use the rest for 1 sec.
Hey guys, what's going on?
So
My name is Rex, and I'm gonna show you guys how to catch Mew legally in Pokemon Blue. The only thing you really need to catch Mew is Abra. We're gonna use it for its teleportation abilities and to glitch the game. Make sure to pay attention to what trainers I have beaten, as fighting the wrong trainer while in the middle of the process to catch Mew will ruin it all. Also, make sure to save at every checkpoint where you see me save the state, as those are the important parts and checkpoints that you need to pay attention to. This is the first part. You have to press start right before the trainer will challenge you as you move the screen. After you press start, teleport out. This will begin the process of glitching the game. The cool part about this glitch is that it does not only allow you to catch Mew, but it virtually allows you to catch any Pokemon in the game, as long as you know the codes for every single Pokemon. The Pokemon code for Mew comes right after the Pokemon code for Slowpoke, so what we need to do is kill a Slowpoke for us to be able to do this trick. Now pay attention to what I'm going to do, as this part is critical. I'm going to go ahead and find the trainer with the Slowpoke, but as you can see, you will not be able to start the battle. In fact, the game will freeze if you try to battle him by being adjacent to his location. So what you have to do is at least move one square top from him so that he walks towards you. That will stop the game from freezing. It doesn't matter how you beat him, as long as obviously he doesn't beat you. But as soon as you beat him, you need to teleport out to the Pokemon Center again. And now, after you teleport, I suggest not going inside any type of building or starting any other kind of fight, as that will just ruin the actual bot. But what you have to do now is just simply walk towards the Nugget Bridge. As long as you do that, and go straight there, you will encounter the Pokemon. Now, as soon as you walk into the middle of the Nugget Bridge, your pause menu is going to pop up automatically. Now, don't freak out, as this is part of the bot. Just take down your pause menu, and Mew will appear. Now, with this method, you not only catch Mew legally, but you also catch it before even fighting Misty. So you can use it for the rest of the game, which is pretty much the entire game. Just make sure to have something to slip him with or to paralyze him, as he's pretty tough to catch. In this game, Mew can learn any ability in the game. He can actually learn any single TM in the entire game, and he will learn new abilities every 10 levels. The abilities that he gets are pretty random, as he can get really any ability in the game. So you'll see him learning things like Sky Attack and Metronome and stuff like that. But I truly hope you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed your new Mew. If you like this sort of video, please go to my channel and subscribe. And
Good job, guys. You got it. UDC r/leftists are finally speaking out against anti-Semitism. Jesus Christ. Anti-Semitism, racism, and bigotry will not be tolerated. r/leftist is insane. Mossad, pay your interns better. This shit is embarrassingly pathetic. You always hear stories of Reddit mods being drunk on power, but this right here also has the benefit of being extremely funny. Guy really thinks he holds legitimate power. There is not enough grass in the world to get this man back to a baseline level of social aptitude. His brain belongs to the internet now, and it's glorious. Perhaps you fascist Zionist freaks prefer this sort of picture. Jesus Christ. What? Are you okay, bro? Wait, how do you go back after you click a picture? Oh, it's a different thing. Disgusting. It's not antiseptic to show the face of an actual Zionist settler whose ugly fucking face perfectly looks like their entire genocidal ideology. Oh my god. Hold on, what was the post? What the title says, I'm beyond exhausted hoping that some of y'all will pull your head out of your asses and live up to the values necessary to be a passable human being. Since this has been a repeated failure, we will move to a zero-tolerance model going forward. Anti-Semitism will result in a 28-day suspension of your account from this subreddit, followed by a permanent ban for any infraction afterwards. Racism will result in a 28-day suspension. Bigotry, this definitely includes transphobia, will result in a 28-day suspension. Genocide denial will result in a 28-day suspension. If you have a doubt of whether or not something's going to run afoul of these zero-tolerance boundaries, don't fucking post it. No, I'm not going to rules, lawyer, technicalities. This is a warning to all users. I don't give a fuck how well you discuss theory. The praxis you claim to have accomplished, none of it. As of 9:15 Eastern, any further comments defending this content as not being anti-Semitic will be permanently banned. Damn. I feel like I always just think of like swapping out other things. I've said this before, like swap out other subjects in a sentence to see if you feel the same way, and if you don't, then there might be something else operating that you're not thinking about. Like if you had some kind of like a Middle Eastern Arab flag and you put like a face like this on it, I'm pretty sure most people would lose their fucking shit here. Is that an actual guy though? That would make it better? Probably, yeah. There's like the weird dude. Is it this guy that people always cite? But I mean, like, you can find a weird looking dude of literally any race ever. Or, I mean, like, stereotypes exist for a reason, right? Like, if I were to start drawing flags of black people with the biggest lipped, biggest, what do they have? Cheeks? Nose? I don't know. Whatever your stereotypes for black people or whatever, and say, oh, well, no, it's a real person. Like, I don't think anybody would be happy with that. Destiny. Oh god. The Hassan cringe. I'm good. This guy is riding off of fucking Mamdani's coattails harder than any fucking person in the history of all of the internet. Okay, what are all these memes? I have things open.
Darkness, endless, despair. Feel no more, coldness, blackened. No sound, feel no pain.
Okay. Byron Donalds is black. My new ad. Wait, what? Would you consider Mamdani's endorsements to be an example of a politician spending political capital? Because if his picks end up being shit, won't it be on him? Yeah, I guess it's a risk, right? He's taking some reputation on getting them elected, and then so we'll see how they turn out, I guess, right? I mean, like, it could be like a cute attention getter, but I feel like this guy's been involved in so much weirdo, kind of like far right shit. Can you explain to me how exactly did he fuck up the audio? I don't know. I should look at what this does. Yesterday, there was a weird thing where the audio was sounding a little bit lower quality, depending on how I streamed it from this computer. And it was because I have a setting on the channel that was turned off, and it's called width. And I don't actually know what width does. I should look it up. It has something to do with the stereo mix or something, but like... Wait. Hold on. 0? Like, what's the difference between this and this? Wait, do you guys even hear the difference? Oh yeah, it changes it for everybody. I don't know why. Like, width is stereo crossfeed? What does that mean? It adjusts the stereo image. Does it really, is 0 really just mono? Huh, I don't know. I don't know why stuff sounds hollow like this sometimes. If I had to guess, actually, maybe it was just like a really aggressive filter put to get rid of background noise that was being picked up by the mic. He doesn't have like a little... Sometimes you'll put like a little furry thing on the top. It looks like he's got a little thing on the top, not a big one. You'll put a little furry thing on the top to catch wind, like a windscreen, and it looks like the flag is blowing in the background. So maybe there's like wind here, and they just aggressively filtered it, and that's why it sounds like they took out too much of the... I don't know, that's my guess. What is this? Somebody said this is voice acting from this game.
Then slit the dominant's throat in the chaos.
This is a guy, right? A famous guy? An actor? Not just a VA? Or no?
I didn't know it was her. How could it be? And so, to save her neck, you slit your sergeants, then set your
Just a
sights
VA?
on the hills,
Okay.
conveniently forgetting how the Empire deals with deserters.
Maybe I just think of him from
'Cause
other
with that
video
on your
games.
chop, my friend, we both know you won't be getting far.
No, I knew this guy's face. No, I do know this guy. Fuck you. Is this the guy? Or am I getting trolled?
Okay, doesn't run. Could melt eating. Baggage. Bio.
Wait, he's in the thumbnail for this. Oh, is that him? Whatever, okay. He was in The Witch. Okay.
You've fallen a long way, Lord Rossfield.
Is this the one what was the Final Fantasy game where the trailer the guy said the word fuck, what was it? Fuck, what was he saying? It was like retribution. Or it wasn't that though. What am I thinking of? Chaos, kill chaos. Oh yeah, chaos. I don't know if that game ended up being good or not. I don't even know what game that was.
A lot of it said that I'm a poor host.
What do you mean to do with her?
Do with her? Why nothing? Her life is her own now. If I wanted to use her, do you think I'd be talking to you?
Okay, I haven't played this whole game, and I'm never going to play this whole game. This does sound significantly better, though, than the game I'm playing now. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm being a hater. What is this?
Almost
Destiny brought up.
purposely trying to be as boring as possible with your personal life is a great prophylactic. Like, people just get very, they'll move on to what is more easily consumable. And for as long as Destiny exists, I'm not going to be top of the list. Like, there was a period where Destiny's private life was just made the most public thing over and over and over again. And Hassan will get in bother over and over and over and over again. Or Nick Fuentes will come through, or Huberman will come through. There's a lot of people that have like easier access than me, who I think my biggest defense is purposely making my private life very boring and not really talking about it all that much. And people just move on. And that for me is like, I'm completely fine by that as my strategy.
The other thing that I think is important is not exposing yourself to the algorithms all that much. So I don't tweet. We've started putting clips up on Instagram, and even doing a little bit more of that, I feel the pull of it, the want of it. So I'm a big fan of all these mid-century media theorists like Marshall McLuhan and Neil Postman and Walter Ong, and all of them basically, their main idea is that every medium changes the user. So we think what we're doing when we turn on the television or turn on X or turn on Instagram or read a book for that matter, is we are consuming content. We are choosing, and we can make better or worse decisions, right? We can be better or worse people, watch better or worse shows. And their whole view is no, it is always using and changing you. There's a great Marshall McLuhan quote where he says, I'll butcher it a little bit from memory, but he says, the content of a medium is the juicy steak thrown to distract the watchdog of the mind. And his point is that while you're sitting there getting mad at a tweet, what's actually happening is that your sense of how ideas should feel and look, how long they should be, while you're sitting there looking at Instagram, your sense of what everything should look like, it's all changing. And as it changes, you change with it, and particularly with these algorithms that create.
Okay. That Jon Stewart interview right there is based. I'll take your word for it. I can't figure out if he's soft defending Trump or not. Who? What is this?
Our government, and it's so dangerous what we're seeing.
Didn't we just find out Ezra takes someone's money? Or am I making shit up? I don't know. There's some leak about like a Peter Thiel secret society group. No offense, I just might be brain broken on the tech people. These guys seem so lame. I don't even know if they could create a secret society. Like, it feels like they would all get together and be like, we should all make our own secret crypto token and then fucking trade it amongst ourselves. And it would be, I don't know. These seem fucking losers. I would actually have more respect for these guys if they created a cool secret society where they were like fucking eating people or whatever. But
our government, and it's so dangerous what we're seeing. You can like Trump or not like Trump. It doesn't. People are going to like presidents and dislike presidents, but now defying the rule of law because he happens to be the head of the federal government and openly defying the federal government, the repercussions of that are going to be, okay, fine, you can't stand this man, you think he's a terrible president, and you're not going to follow his laws, but that's the new normal now. So when a president gets in that you do support, then the other side, because we've established this precedent, they're just not going to follow his laws either.
Right.
And now we've eroded the rule of law. And then what happens?
The slippery slope is very dangerous.
Our government, and it's so dangerous what we're seeing. You can like Trump or not like Trump. It doesn't. People are going to like presidents and dislike presidents, but now defying the rule of law because he happens to be the head of the federal government and openly defying the federal government, the repercussions of that are going to be, okay, fine, you can't stand this man, you think he's a terrible president, and you're not going to follow his laws, But that's the new normal now. So when a president gets in that you do support, then the other side, because we've established this precedent, they're just not going to follow his laws either.
Right.
And now we've eroded the rule of law. And and then what happens?
The slippery slope is very dangerous.
I would have to watch more of this. I mean, this sounds like it could be a soft defense of Trump. I don't know. Also, I'm a little bit biased. This does sound a little bit like a soft defense of Trump. I don't know anything about this Yellowstone show other than I've gotten fed a few clips of it on YouTube. And I feel like the clips I've seen are literally, I don't know if a guy gets elected as a new mayor or governor or something, but like he walks into an office and he's like, "Who are y'all?" And they're like, "Oh, we are your policy advisors." "What do y'all do?" "Well, we decide what the policy is for you because we're gay government bureaucrats." And he's like, "I just figured out how to save a whole lot of money. You're all fired. Bring in my cattle." And like, "Ah!" And then he's like, "How much did we just save?" And his secretary's like, "You just saved $1.4 million. I want to slobber on your fucking cock. That was so fucking hot." And he's like, "Oh, that's all good, but I got to go take care of my cows on my ranch." I don't know what the show's about, but it just, the whole thing like comes off to me that way. So I don't know. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I'm like, maybe that was like just one clip of the thing, but just seemed like an epic normal everyman cattle rancher guy gets made a big government guy. Oops, wrong thing. And now he's here to show all the weak government bureaucrats how things are really done. What is
I
this?
can't imagine how you can defend some of the things that you've been posting for years. Some of the things that you've written. You tweeted, "Suck it up, bro," in response to a post discussing Senator Kane's
You should defy laws where those laws are illegal, though, right? I said this before, but anytime you say a word or you say a thing, you're invoking a whole network of concepts, and you don't really understand all the concepts that you're invoking because that's just not how language works. It's like webs of ideas that are all kind of connected. Like when you say what is a man or what is a woman or whatever the fuck else, right? There's a whole network of concepts that we're kind of blowing up here. And the issue is that there is like there's like an ontology. There's an essential qualifying list of things for any topic that we talk about, but we don't always enunciate those, and we might not even immediately know what those things are, but they are there. And the problem is somebody will break the ontology, but then challenge you to continue to adhere to the things that you said about it. So, for instance, you think we should follow the law, right? And you're like, yes, the law is important. Tell me more about how it's important. Well, without orderly society, without the laws that we all agree on existing, it would lead to chaos, and it would just be lawlessness definitionally. But like that would lead to like suffering and all this horrible stuff, and we wouldn't know how to hold anybody accountable, and we'd have to enforce it. Might makes right. It would just be horrible, and it'd be like, okay, liberal. Well, I just made a new law today that says all men get to rape all women once per day. Now what, liberal? And you're like, okay, well, I'm probably not going to follow that law. Oh, so now I've exposed you as a hypocrite. You're not going to follow the laws, boy, because you don't like them. I didn't like the laws when you took my taxes, and now you don't want to follow the laws when I tell you y'all got to rape. Well, what's going on, liberal? And the liberal is like scratching your head. Is like, fuck, I think did he just get me in a hypocrisy? He kind of did, I guess, because it's not like I said before that the laws had to be a certain way. But the reality is like there is an essential idea or component of what it means for a thing to be a law that is kind of like underpinning all of this. You just don't really think about it a lot. And especially now with the Trump admin, they have so fundamentally altered so many of the different structures of government and so many of the different ways that the executive branch works that every time, this is why I always tell you, don't let somebody else from the outside come in and beat you over the head with your own rule book, because they don't play by those rules. And the things that they want to change and the things they want to do are going to mutate those rules in ways that you never would have wanted them used in the past. Like, for instance, like the vote blue no matter who thing, right? Why do we say vote blue no matter who? What's really underlining that, what's really underpinning the blue in that vote blue no matter who is like a broad concept of what it means to be a Democrat, right? Somebody who is largely for more like social safety nets, somebody who is largely more socially progressive or liberal. So you would want to protect rights for things like abortion, probably, for things like minorities and gay people. More centrally, right? These are all things that are underpinning what it means to be a Democrat, right? So vote blue no matter who means even if you don't get the Democrat you want, you should vote blue no matter who. But then as we've seen like with the DSA people, when you start to get insanely radical people in that are either testing the edges of what we considered blue to be or exist outside of that boundary, and then they come back and they're like, you said you had to vote blue no matter what. It's like, okay, yeah, I guess kind of, but like now I'm not even sure. I don't even know if I would have ever considered these people blue. Like if I would have known before that blue includes actual Marxist-Leninist communists that want a violent revolution in the United States, I don't think I would have ever made that statement before, right? But now it sounds like you're just backtracking because you just don't like the current blue candidate, and then they're going to say, oh, so you're doing the exact same thing that we did when we didn't like your candidates. And it's like, well, but before, didn't we all kind of had a shared understanding of what it meant to be blue? And wasn't that literally a concept we all agreed on? And you were literally attacking that concept. And now that you found somebody that is like outside of that, but you're trying to hijack the movement and jump into it, now you're trying to use our old rule with new definitions to attack us and make us seem hypocritical. These arguments are very sophisticated and like very like, would it be more abstract or more applied? I mean, it would be a more abstract argument. And we just don't really think about these things all the time. So it's just hard to grapple with it because we don't live in that hypothetical world, you know? Somebody says all human life is important, categorically speaking, right? It's like, yeah, so you don't think we should, all human life should be protected, right? Yeah. Well, what if I bred humans that had parts of their brains changed so that the only things that made their existence pleasurable was mass murder, rape, arson? Would you protect those humans? And it's like, Jesus. Well, because you want to say yes, because you said you would protect all human life, right? And you would protect murderers, right? You don't want them to be killed, right? They go to prison, right? You wouldn't just kill them. But what's happened is that the person has altered the definition to some extent of like, we don't usually consider human beings as creatures that as an essential part of that creature is the thing that just wants to like murder and destroy. Like that's just not what a human is to most people's understanding. There might be like an aberrant human, like a somebody that's way off the norm that's like that, and then they would get all of the same qualifications and protections as like, you know, what we would assign to the class of humans, but we would never consider like a whole group of humans that lack, you know, fundamental human empathy. That seems to torture the definition or expand it to something that we wouldn't agree with. And then if we had that definition, can there be whole groups of humans that just get pleasure from murdering and destroying? Well, I don't know if we would have ever made the original statement of like all human life should be protected. Maybe that human life shouldn't be protected, you know? But it's a very abstract like ontology argument that is hard to understand sometimes because we just don't normally operate in that realm much, you know? What is this? Do you think we're approaching a point in politics where the Dems should attempt to bar DSA members from running any Democrat primary and bite the bullet of a potentially split ticket in order to make a clean divide between the two parties? I don't know if... Are you allowed to tell people who can or can't ride? I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm saying ride because I'm reading a stupid message. Can you bar people from running under a certain political party? I don't know how that works. I mean, they're private, I guess. Maybe you could.
Brilliant people I've ever worked with. He tries to explain it. I'm trying to get my head around it. I've never done motion capture before. I'm watching Benedict Cumberbatch do the Lion King or whatever the fuck he does, and he's like, "Rah!" I'm like, oh shit,
Here's something I'm curious for the DSA people. Is if a single payer healthcare is a hugely animating issue for them, I wonder if they would fight hard on gerrymandering. Because I mentioned this yesterday, I think gerrymandering only hurts moderate Dems, bro. We're getting attacked from all ends, right? Because how many DSA members are going to be running in Louisiana or Georgia or Alabama or Mississippi or Tennessee? How many DSA members are going to be running down there, right? My guess is probably none will ever make it through the primaries there, let alone win a general election. So in a way, gerrymandering kind of benefits the DSA because they're only attacking the Dems from the most blue districts possible, right? They can't really be hurt as much there. I wonder if they would ever come out and support gerrymandering bans or gerrymandering laws on the books for the federal government the same way that ordinary Democrats would. I have no idea.
way better at this than I am. And then I found out they couldn't use any of it because his hands coming in between his camera. You have a skin-tight Lycra bodysuit with balls all over you that you stick to everything. You're supposed to be making out with Léa Seydoux and you're banging foreheads on cameras. Same with Mads. And then Hideo will go, okay, pick up the baby doll and cry. And you're like, what about? And he's like, and you cry because the strand of the you're like, I don't know what any of that means. I'm very sorry.
Did you see Sam Seder's response to the primary? No, my guess is all of their responses are going to be the exact opposite of what it was for the Virginia, New Jersey stuff, to where all of them are going to be saying, this is it. This is the evidence. Socialists are coming for the rest of you guys.
I trust you, but I don't know what that means. And then he's like, look up a whale. Hideo is one of the most brilliant people.
Look up a whale. Sometimes you say something smart, then pause for dramatic effect, and whenever you do that, I just imagine an anime character adjusting their glasses and letting the light reflect on them. If I'm pausing, it's usually because I've given what I thought was a fairly big concept, and I don't want to just move on immediately from it, because I feel like it's a lot. I might also just be thinking my next sentence. Nothing personal, kid.
Winner. Who won the 2020 election?
2020, Joseph Biden was declared the winner of the 2020 election by a joint session of Congress.
He was declared the winner?
Yes.
The people of America declared him the winner. Correct?
Wait, did the camera freeze, or was that him just not... Hold on. Oh, it muted.
Correct?
Oh, okay. Nice.
There was an election, and it proceeded through the normal procedures outlined in the Constitution, including
and he
state
won the
votes that led-
popular vote, correct?
As a judicial nominee, it would be inappropriate to comment on a disputed political and legal
I'm asking
issue.
you as a matter of fact.
And the people he endorsed will destroy the Democratic Party from within. It's unfortunate that you praised him so heavily. True, my praise for him is why he endorsed people. I mean, like, there was the one crazy lady who seems pretty crazy. I don't know what the rest of the DSA candidates are like, though. Not to buy in too much to the IRI ultra hopium narrative, but, like, it is possible that a lot of these guys just kind of become pretty standard-ish Democrats in terms of how they vote and everything. So, I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world if we have pretty blue people from pretty blue districts. I think the scary thing is that I think typically what you try to do is if you have like, let's say you have these regions, you've got like contested districts, you've got conservative districts, you've got very conservative districts, and then you've got like Democratic districts, and you've got very Democratic districts. Is typically, I think you want your seats of power, like your big, like your majority speaker positions, your party leader positions, is you generally want them to be in these areas. Because you don't want, like, imagine if Pelosi was from, I don't know, like Pennsylvania or Michigan or something, and then she just like loses an election to a Republican, and now you've lost a really big political leader because they're in like an exposed district. So you usually want them, I think, in your pretty blue areas. So the only thing scary about the DSA shit is that they seem to only ever run in these areas. And so if our party leadership is threatened, and especially if they're gunning for the party leadership, just from what I've seen of DSA type people, they don't ever really seem to be electorally minded. They just seem to be, I don't even know, whatever ideological shit they're hyper fixated on. I also think, so in some ways people are correct about a thing, but I think they're a little incorrect in the long haul about a thing, which I think people need to be careful of. So a lot of people are saying that this means that the DSA is a lot more powerful than we ever thought because they're getting so many people elected. But I think that's the wrong take. I think Mamdani is just very, 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 very popular. And the Mamdani endorsement probably meant a lot more than them being DSA members. But some people are saying that, like, oh, so we don't have to worry about the DSA at all. It's just the Mamdani endorsement. I mean, like, Mamdani can tie his brand to the DSA, and that can lift up the brand of the DSA, especially if they're winning primaries too. So that is a thing to be concerned about as well, right? Did anyone from the DSA take a seat from Republicans? No. The DSA will exclusively be an issue that we have in the party that we have to fight against. Another issue too. So like, here's like a thing that I want to say. This would be like a mature approach. Is one thing I can say is like, it's not necessarily bad if people who are further left than you are winning seats, especially in bluer areas in your party, right? Like we could look to that as being like, okay, well, maybe the electorate is moving, or maybe there are other policy positions that we could consider adopting. That's not necessarily bad. The only thing that's annoying, I guess, is these people have an intense disdain for the rest of the party, which makes it can't be a one-way collaborative effort. It has to be two-way. So if, it can't be that the center-left libs, and this is always the issue with libs and why they all fail and they can't understand this and they'll never adopt this, is you can't sit here and say like, well, I'm okay with having somebody further to the left of me. I think that's okay. We can have these people in the party. When all of those people are saying, well, if you're to the right of me on any of these issues, it means that one, you're supporting a genocidal apartheid state, and you're pro-genocide and pro-Nazi, I guess. Or two, you want every American citizen to die because they don't have Medicare for all, and the only reason you're not voting for it is because you're bought off by Big Pharma and your pockets are being lined by foreign interests in AIPAC and Big Pharma to watch American citizens suffer for no reason other than your own greedy endeavors. Like, there's no two-way street there. That's not tenable, I think. But in my opinion, the biggest problem is that the lefties always fail anywhere else and are always attacking the Dems. Sure. But then they also have the advantage, too, of, like, not having governed. So it means that they can say or promise anything. Maybe we'll see something different when they start to govern, too. Who knows? They might break off in the future of their own thing, and that would be the long term. No, I don't think. The American political system doesn't really have a place for three parties. It's got to be two, unfortunately, the way that it works. Well, I say unfortunately, but I don't know.
Everybody in America knows the answer to this question. Why are you refusing to give it before this panel under oath? He won the popular vote in the 2020 election, correct?
Senator, as this is a disputed political matter.
Disputed. All of these judges have to go. All of these judges have to go.
And there is ongoing litigation, and as a judicial nominee, I'm not.
Who won the Electoral College in the 2020 election?
A joint session of Congress determined that Joseph Biden won the Electoral College.
Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
A joint session of Congress determined that President Trump did not win the Electoral College.
Was the Capitol attacked on January 6th?
Senator, there was violence and vandalism on that day, including with regard to law enforcement officers. I think all of that was inappropriate and wrong.
And illegal.
Certainly, there were court findings of
There were
illegality.
convictions.
Wait, this isn't the same. We're not re-listening to the same thing we listened to before, right? Is this a different guy giving these answers, right? They all do this. It's different. Okay.
That's correct.
And people were convicted of attacking the Capitol, correct?
I don't know if any court used the phrase attacking the Capitol. I think the Supreme Court.
Wouldn't you use it to describe what happened on that day? Everybody in America has seen the videos.
Is there a way to ask this 2020 election question where these maggots cannot wiggle out of it? Actually, the last time we listened to one of these, or it was the time before, they did a really good job of asking who won the 2024 election, and the guy said Trump won the 2024 election, and that was it. And then he compared it to, I don't know if it was it Blumenthal? And then he compared it to like, oh, that's crazy that you said that Trump won the 2024 election, but for 2020 you just said Biden was certified the winner, you know?
Everybody in America knows that.
Are left-wing populists just as conspiracy brained as the conservatives? I would say yes. I was going to say maybe more, but I don't know if they can be more conspiracy brain. I think everybody is fucked right now, but I think that's a social media problem that nobody wants to address or is able to address.
Capitol Police were injured. Some died. Wasn't it an attack on the Capitol?
Senator, it was an attack on a number of individuals, and that was...
Wait, Josiah! Don't leave. Is he here? Here's a question for Josiah. I have the thing you linked. Fuck. Is he already gone?
Wrong and inappropriate.
Why are you unwilling to say honestly and candidly to this committee that the Capitol was attacked?
Well, Senator, as a judicial nominee, I'm here to talk about questions of law, not fact. I know the United States Supreme Court has
No,
said
you're
that the
here
Capitol...
to talk about what we ask you to talk about, and questions of fact are absolutely to the point when we are asking whether you are willing to state facts honestly.
I don't know what Blumenthal's background is. This is not a question of fact. I don't feel like. I think this would be more, I don't know if you would consider it a question of law or just like a philosophical question on was the Capitol attacked? There are no facts in dispute here. It was a very legalistic term that he used. I feel very improperly there. There is no factual dispute here over what happened. It's your characterization of it that Blumenthal has an issue with, and he should have an issue with it. Josiah's here. Does anybody cover this on any of the mainstream media shows like CNN or MSNBC, or does anybody make a big deal about nobody being able to answer these questions?
And candidly, because it goes to your integrity and independence. If you're going to be...
Like, what am I watching here? Like, Aaron Rupar, this guy that is taking... Is this like from C-SPAN, or what does this come from?
It's no...
It's likely from C-SPAN. Oh, this guy is a lawyer. Oh, okay. Blumenthal. Very little, sadly. Most people just skip over this shit anymore. One of the issues, again, I'm doing my OneNote thing again. Get ready for it. I'm going to be talking about this a lot for the whole next fucking year, okay? Remember when the Harvard lady gave that answer about birthing person or whatever for abortion? Shit like that. When those clips are farmed by the conservatives, they're farmed, but then nobody does anything with them. Like, they're just clips, and then nobody talks about them in the mainstream media. So they never really carry that far. Every single conservative knew about the Harvard lawyer lady answers, because as soon as they get that clip, these things are run nonstop across all of the conservative media. They are not ran anywhere. But they don't really seem like they carry far on any of the lib-left media. So you don't really ever get this. You just don't get this. Like, I guess, translating to the average American person or whatever. Just another... Oh, another meme. Ashley St. Clair, Elon's ex, has repeatedly confirmed that there are big group chats and big group text among MAGA creators and MAGA politicians. It's coordinated and astroturfed, unlike Dems. Yeah, I know. But I mean, like, God bless her for coming out and saying that or whatever, but we don't need to hear that. We should know it. It's very, 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 very obvious what happens. It's obvious if you know what to look for. But the Dems will get there someday. They'll figure it out. What is this?
It's no secret that the...
Obvious to the average American? The average American doesn't have to know. The average American doesn't know what's going on in terms of the media ecosystem. The Democratic leadership, though, and the media people on the left should know. I almost opened stream today just reading an article and not telling you where it was from while every fucking retard in chat word spam. Where's it from? Where's it from? Where's it from? That Connor guy that I was arguing with yesterday on Twitter, the Atlantic writer was the one who wrote that article that I think we'd read a while ago. I think we actually read it on stream, or I remember it kind of blew up a while ago, saying like, this is the case for treating the second Trump term seriously, or not like the first one. Like the first one was really crazy, but in the second one, you know, he got the popular vote and he's going to rule with a mandate and blah, blah, blah. That fucking dude, oh my God. He was the writer of that article though. Ugh, whatever.
It's no secret that the Democratic Socialists of America hate the Democratic Party.
I think we're all on the same page that we hate the Democrats.
What is Canary Mission? Are these Jewish anti-Semitic people, or is this Democratic people, or what?
Party. Democratic Party is not really our friend. It isn't.
So why are the DSA such major players in the Democratic Party? This odd relationship can be understood with the cuckoo analogy. In nature, the cuckoo survives by trickery. It lays its egg in another bird's nest. The unsuspecting parents raise the imposter as their own until the cuckoo grows strong enough to push the true chicks out. The DSA is the cuckoo inside the Democratic Party.
DSA is not the Democratic Party.
We must separate ourselves from the toxic Democratic Party.
We can purport a clear, aggressive, principled strategy that pushes back against the Democratic leadership and the Democratic Party as a whole.
DSA candidates run as Democrats in safe blue districts. They slip through low turnout primaries. And once inside, they use the Democratic label as camouflage while advancing an extremist anti-American agenda far beyond the party's mainstream.
I don't agree with the Democratic Party, but it's a great tool.
Is DSA fundamentally different from European Social Democrats? Is it Social Democrat in name only? Okay, somehow this swapped over the last 10 years. In Europe, my feeling, at least for Western and Northern Europeans, when you ask a European, what is a socialist? They'll tell you like, oh, like big government safety nets, unironically. When I talk to young Europeans in Western Europe, that seems to be their concept of socialism. In America now, though, for like these DSA types, socialism is much closer to the more hardcore roots fucking shit. Which is, yeah, I don't know. It's like the we need to get rid of all the capital owners and the laborers need to control everything, and yeah.
Democratic is a tool that we use.
Not to say that one person is right or wrong or whatever else. I'm just saying it's kind of funny in that it feels like in America, socialism used to just be government does more stuff. But now when I talk to if I talk to normie Europeans, it feels like they believe that like socialism is when government does more stuff.
DSA candidates take orders from DSA's internal enforcers and working groups. City halls and state houses start running as socialist machines, controlled by the organization, not the Democratic Party, and certainly not voters.
They have to have a connection with DSA's internal politics, and they have to be committed to the eventual goal of building a separate entity from the Democrats.
DSA are revolutionaries, and the Democrats are their first victims. And in city after city, DSA victories prove their plan works.
I think that the model that we used in New York is 100% replicatable.
And just like the cuckoo, once the DSA grows strong, it pushes the true Democrats out, hollowing the party from within,
building towards political independence and tearing apart the Democratic Party.
The DSA is not here to strengthen the Democratic Party. It is here to consume it.
We're not here to make the Democrats a little bit better. We're here to actually enact socialism. And socialism is not just better capitalism. It's overthrowing the entire capitalist state.
It's our duty, DSA, to cultivate this power.
The cuckoo is in the nest, and New York City is poised to elect not a Democrat, but Zohran Mamdani, an extremist within the DSA.
We understand that winning an election is not an end.
Wait, was this before he was elected?
So the most important thing that we can do is take that empire down from within.
Ultimately to overthrow our own empire.
We need a movement that can drive a snake to the heart of the empire.
We need to orient ourselves towards insurrection.
Okay. Friendly reminder. Oh, maybe this was from a while ago. A year ago? If you want to fight against these types, I think you should. I think it's important to. But it's got to be more than just they want to take over the party. I think you got to be really careful with this messaging because keep in mind the Democratic Party brand is very low right now. So you might be saying something that a lot of people think is like kind of based. It reminds me of, I don't remember who it was, but Republicans ran, it was like an attack ad against somebody. And the attack ad it might have been against Plattner? I don't remember. But it was like, this guy wants to make it so that college costs nothing and that all Medicare for all is a thing, blah, 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 blah. And like I'm reading this, I'm not actually sure if this is supposed to be an attack ad or if it's like a satirical ad and it was supposed to be like for the candidate because it was such a stupid way to try to attack the person, I thought. But
voter list. So yes or no, if a state refuses to turn their absentee voter list over to the federal government, will the Postal Service still mail their ballots under this proposal route?
Under our proposed regulation, no. We would tell the state that we need the manifest in order to, look, what we're asking for.
This is the U.S. Postmaster General, who's, I'm assuming the USPS is the top dog. Fuck. Hold on. United States Postal Service. Federal Register Postal Service. They don't have the head of the whatever. Wait, didn't they used to? Did they change these websites? Am I crazy? I thought they used to show like the head of the department and everything on these pages. Justice Department. Okay. I thought they used to. Trump is firing them so fast they just changed it? I don't know. I thought they used to show like the current head with like a picture and everything here. David P. Steiner. Okay. Postmaster General is the Chief Executive Officer of the United States Postal Service. All right. Selected and appointed by the Board of Governors of the Postal Service, which is appointed by the President. Of the 11 board members, 9 are presidentially appointed. Okay. It's normal every 4 to 8 years, all of these are swapped out, I'm guessing. Okay.
Proposal. So yes or no, if a state refuses to turn their absentee voter list over to the federal government, will the Postal Service still mail their ballots under this proposal rule?
Under our proposed regulation, no. We would tell the state that we need the manifest in order to, look, what we're asking for.
That's the answer. You'd tell no. So the proposed rule basically coerces states to conform to these.
This is somewhat of an age thing. If you're like 25 or younger, I just don't know if you understand. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean like, it is insane how crazy Republicans have been in my lifetime about states' rights and how important it is that every state has their own government and the federal government can fuck off and federalism is a fucking evil thing. Like they hated this concept of federalism almost. Like they were anti-federal government in so many different ways. The Tea Party sprung up in a way as a response to like the federal government. How in an almost instant, the Republican Party shed its care of states' rights and immediately hopped on to an oppressive federal government. That has to be studied. It is insane to me. Remember the difference in responses. When Trump was president in 2017, after he won that election, Trump claimed there was voter fraud in that election. He claimed there was voter fraud in every fucking election. Unironically, I'm not exaggerating. He's just a fucking joke. When he put together this commission or whatever to look for voter fraud, the first thing that they did was they said, hey, in order for us to do the investigation to see if there was voter fraud, we need every single state to give us all of their voter rolls. Let me make sure I'm not incorrect here. Yeah. Every single state said to fuck off. There was an immediate bipartisan backlash and rejection of the inquiries with a majority of states quickly rejecting the requests, notably Commissioners Kobach, Dunlap, and Lawson, who also served as the Secretaries of State for Kansas, Maine, and Indiana, respectively, with Indiana being Mike Pence's home state, indicated that their state laws forbade them from complying. Some states offered to only provide information that is already made public or available for purchase. No state has said they will fully comply with the list of demands. None of the states cooperated. However, I believe this time around, I think some states have already voluntarily given it up. Didn't Texas voluntarily give, states give voter registry to federal government? Or maybe I'm over exaggerating or exaggerating a bit. Fuck. I don't know if this story would have been here. Oh, shit. Is that true? No shot. That's so fucking gross. Hold on. A Facebook video. Oh my God. The Trump administration is demanding that states hand over their voter files. Most states have refused, but at least 10 have provided full voter lists. If that's true, is it really a private? At least, okay, and then on this site it says that was 2 months ago. This site says at least 16 states have either provided or said they will provide their full statewide voter registration lists, including driver's license and social security numbers. So we went from, in 2017, 2018, every single state in the United States said, sorry, fuck you, buddy. And then now we have 16 of them voluntarily complying, and then others are being sued. Just unbelievable.
Coerces states to
manifest in order to, look, what we're asking for.
That's the answer. You tell no. So the proposed rule basically coerces states to conform to these new requirements and hand over their absentee voter rolls, or face the consequences of not being able to vote by mail. Some states, that's all they do.
Protest Gang Kick Chat said, if you say no, you'll lose your office. Look at all the Republicans in Indiana who said no to gerrymandering. 7 out of 8 of them lost their primaries. Is that true? Is that stat true?
Oregon is completely vote by mail. If they say no, we control the list. The states control the list. We're not going to give it.
Oregon has followed Kit 600 since the day they started voting by mail.
This is a different issue. If they say no, we control the list. The states control the list. We're not going to give it.
Oregon has followed Kit 600 since the day they started voting by mail.
Is Kit 600 is that some way that they do mail-in ballots or whatever? Is that?
This is a different issue. This will be a lot different issue. You're telling these states either give the federal government this information, trust the federal government, trust the Trump administration. We'll take good care of these. And if
I'll read this in a sec.
If you don't do it, you can't mail absentee ballots. You're going to make a decision that people cannot vote by mail. That's unacceptable.
Well,
Thank
all
you, Mr. Chairman.
all that does, Senator, is make sure that we match the ballots that a state believes they're sending out to what actually gets sent out, right? And so
it's not your job. (2026-2027) official election mail guide. This is just for states to make sure that they're complying with the USPS's guide for how to do this. Sure. Is there anything in here about the having to give your voter information over? Probably not. Representative Anna Pauline Luna used Anthropic's Claude AI chatbot to draft amendment to defense bill. The Access Direct Care at the VA to telehealth opioid use disorder treatment providers in the community. Late increasing example, specific factors, identical to HR 100, 118th Congress, 11:25 a.m. Claude responded. Requires the Secretary of Defense to designate based. The problem with all the AI shit is it's going to be just like, there's a better example, but I'm thinking of like, when you're reading stuff online and the thing is saying, this isn't real medical advice, seek professional help, or this is just like like a guideline, but people just take it as medical advice. It's like that, you know? Yeah, my staff used AI to spell/grammar check the amendment summary, not the actual amendment text itself. Not a shocker. Most staff use it. I have told them to make sure they are double-checking and more thorough. What dork planted this story? By the way, love Claude, but Grok is way more savage. What a dumb fucking cunt. Jesus. The problem is that the AI shit is just so convenient that if you can be going through, 1,000 documents in 10 minutes as opposed to spending 10 minutes per document, people are always going to gravitate towards the easier option. It is, but is it worth it when it's unreliable? It will be to these people. Remember. Whether or not something is good is the time you put into it, the quality that you put into it, and the cost. These are all essential aspects of a thing. If you can use this AI shit to dramatically decrease the amount of time, or we could put it as a gain, to dramatically decrease the amount of time that you spend, but the quality drops, people will think that, a lot of people make this argument when they talk about like good code or whatever. When they look at stuff like this, they're thinking like, okay, well, I mean, developers are going to look at this, or owners are going to look at this, and they're going to say, oh, well, sure, you might save time, but the quality is decreasing. So, obviously we're going to cut back a lot on the AI shit, right? But they are missing this part. You are saving so much fucking money. If you are saving money and you're able to ship products faster or do things quicker, everybody will accept a quality decline. Everybody will accept a quality decline if you're saving a ton of money and time on a thing. This is people never factor in or never think about like the cost thing, because people think they're getting these epic owns sometimes. It's like, oh, well, really? Well, look at that mistake they made. Windows 11 just shipped another bug in their Enterprise Edition, so obviously they're going to stop this, right? They might have shipped 5 more bugs, but guess what? The cost that it takes them to ship it, refund customers that had bad experiences, and to patch the bug, at least at this point, is probably significantly less than the salaries they were paying for the 500 fucking developers that they were able to lay off, because now they've got a few people running, 15 different fucking Claude agents or whatever the fuck. So this is a big deal. I'm not saying, by the way, it's good and I hope AI takes over or whatever. I'm just saying that if you have to factor that into your mind. I don't like it. I don't use AI for anything. I'm not an adopter. I just don't really like it that much. I don't like when people send me AI shit. It feels, I'm booming so hard, but it feels disrespectful to my time. Like, if you couldn't even take the time to write this, why the fuck am I reading it? I don't like AI summaries. Like, I don't trust a robot to summarize things for me. People don't even summarize it well. Why would I trust this thing to tell me what's important? Like, I don't know. I'll get more into it at some point. I'm a hater. Pass more progressive legislation than anyone else in your state in history. Be called an Israel shill and lose all attention to a Muslim socialist filling in potholes. She's a union-busting piece of shy. Rip. Who is she? One of the people that lost in... Wait, is this Span... Wait. Yes. This is Spanberger, right? Yes, okay. What does he mean by lose? Just losing media attention? Is that what they mean? I guess? Okay, I think that's what it means. All right. I don't know if that was supposed to be an election thing or something. Is this AI? Oh, wait, have you considered this? What? There's no pictures on the Instagram comments? On the browser? Holy shit. Fat fucking retard. Last one. Holy shit! He's got our mail-in ballots! Here they come!
Can I get you real quick? Alright, sounds good. Thank you. I got a fun one. Clear the air. If you don't mind. Is that cool?
Go ahead.
Okay, so Congresswoman, what do you say to critics who are saying that you're using, was it Claude, to write legislative text?
Did you see our response?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I'd say a majority of people do use AI to now spell check, but it's actually not legal for people to post or to actually submit legislation to the House.
Why do you have to use AI to spell check? Don't we have spell checkers? Am I crazy?
On that, and actually we issued a statement clarifying and actually made fun of the person that did that because they also used my swimsuit photos from when I was in, my previous modeling career to try to say that me pushing for issues like banning insider trading is doing it for attention. So I would say that you're probably a more reputable outlet than the Daily Mail. It is what it is, but you should definitely post my response to that because, I did tease my staff a little bit about it. I was like, really, summary on Claude, but, if you're looking for a good platform, Claude's pretty good, Grok's better.
Okay, and you're on the Defiance Act, right?
Is Grok actually better, or is she literally just fucking Elon simping here?
I am.
Yeah, so what do you make of people using your photos from your previous career like that? Is that intrusive?
They're not photoshopped.
Okay,
I just think that if you're going to be considered a legitimate journalist, and then you're using my swimsuit photos, which by the way I love the swimsuit, and it's not a bad photo, but you're using it for clickbait, then maybe you should probably go touch some grass. At least come up with a substantive argument.
Right.
Definitely drastically reduced medical errors and the ED for us. Doctors like me use it constantly to help identify issues we might have otherwise missed. AI has become a valuable tool in medicine. It's already proven patient care in a lot of ways. I don't know if you don't see it replacing physicians anytime soon, but it's absolutely helping us do our jobs better. Wait. Dr. Pibb, have I asked this question before? Dr. Pibb in KickChat is an actual doctor? It's like super spell checker, basically. Okay.
But I think if I would...
Trump meets with NATO. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me go through the rest of my links and then we'll look at some Hassan slop. The Army, Navy, and Air Force are once again requiring flu shots for basic trainees. Uh-oh. Why? Who cares? Let them build their natural immunity.
Refuses to turn their...
Well, we watched this already.
Support Hakeem. You said last night that you still plan to support Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker if Democrats take the House. Even though he endorsed incumbent Congressman Dan Goldman, he did not endorse you. After sleeping on it and after seeing the result...
Not to beat a dead horse, and maybe you've spoken on this already, but is there actually any limit to how long the judge can hold off on the MSJ or trial? I mean, theoretically, no. I don't think there is, right? It could be 100 years in the future. I don't think there's a real set limit on any of it.
It's not just in your race, but all these other races come in. I'm wondering if you still feel confident in that answer, given the pattern here and the message it seems that New Yorkers are trying to send.
Yeah, I look forward to helping elect Hakeem Jeffries to be the Speaker of the House in January. He called to congratulate me, and we had a good conversation. Primaries are where we work out the direction of the party, and there's change I want to see, and we've been clear about it on corporate PAC money, on the U.S. relationship to Israel and Palestine, on fighting harder for working families. But we've got to be a unified party to do that. To me, the line is not between progressives and moderates. The line is between fighters and folders, and Democrats want a fighting party. And that looks different in different districts and different parts of the country. Hakeem Jeffries is our leader in the House. We'll make him Speaker in January. Of course, I'll work to hold him accountable, just like voters will work to hold me accountable. That's how democracy is supposed to work.
Was this a DSA guy, the Lander dude? Okay. Yes, no. Non-DSA guy. But Mamdani did endorse him. Okay. Military services, again, requiring recruits to get flu shots as Air Force outbreak grows. At least 222 recruits at Lackland Air Force Base, part of Joint Base San Antonio, have been diagnosed with the flu, and 4 have been hospitalized. Damn. They'll be okay, I'm sure. Man, they're getting such good natural immunity. Whew. He was DSA, but he dropped out after October 7th. Lander calls himself a liberal Zionist. There's no way in a million years he gets endorsed by the DSA ever. When you're out farming and you run into the server psycho.
Everything getting harder to find. Everybody jumping out of their mind. Everybody going out of their skin. See, we get to the end, but that's where we begin. You feel it? Mannequins and we breaking the moves. Breaking out and we breaking the codes. Similar to the jack who stole to the depths in your wet, so you take explosive, so get it out. Send your body to flight. Everybody got a touch tonight. All you studs and your duds and your ladies is fly. Grip the moment like you. No time to rest. Here is not a test. We're only here.
Recreation of a movie scene. I just happen to have seen the original. Oh shit, I didn't even know.
I don't know the reference.
Wait, I have no clue what... Okay, well... Can Charlize Theron survive the end of Taron Egerton's song?
Me. Yeah. Ricky? Our life games again.
Epic. Jesse with a generational clip in 25K ELO.
Arch one lane, to arch one lane. Nice. Lane and arch.
Oh yeah, arch one, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. No. No! No!
Holy shit!
Holy
Jesse!
That's what
Jesse,
you do,
that,
huh?
That was listening
with me.
Nice.
I feel like this kind of post should be the spirit of the sub. Actual video game LSF stuff.
It was 10 years ago. Well, oh my God, bruh. Blame streamers for being fucking weirdos, okay? But you guys also love the weirdos. You love the drama. You love all the slop. Nobody can just play games and chill anymore, okay?
It means...
That's on you guys. Voice actor comparison. What is this?
And Gio has betrayed us as well.
Angeal wouldn't betray us.
Angeal?
Never.
It means Angeal has betrayed us as well.
Angeal wouldn't betray us. Never!
It means
Am I supposed to feel like one is better than the other?
Angeal has betrayed us as well.
Angeal wouldn't betray us. Never.
It means Angeal has betrayed us as well.
Angeal wouldn't betray us. Never!
I don't know. Okay. Starting later today, Vanguard will be able to run in on-demand mode for players on Windows 11. You just need to enable some optional security features for your motherboard, and your taskbar can have 256 of its pixels back.
We'll tell you. Now Vanguard will only run when you're playing a Riot game, if you meet a few requirements. But why now? Well, it wasn't possible because we needed to know a
I don't even know what half these things stand for. VBS, HVCI, IOMMU. In and out of your memory module unit? I don't have no clue. HVCI sounds like some air conditioner bullshit. VBS, virtual boot system. I don't even know. Jesus.
But why now? Well, it wasn't possible because we needed to know a kernel space had been broken by a cheater before the game launched. But we've been cooking on that. This is all totally optional, but if you enable these settings, Vanguard won't run unless the game is open. About 35% of players are already good to go, and the rest, our new high-definition UI will tell you what's missing. If you're curious, we also wrote this article explaining everything. Now
Damn. They're really swimming through your computer to look for shit. All right. Ad wants me to suffer.
It was called? And that's a dub. Wait, that's 3 for 3? The Democratic Party machine in the blue stronghold of New York City was thoroughly defeated tonight.
We're on the DSA ship right now. We got Claire Valdez. We got Daria Lisa. Let's go! I've been drinking slightly.
What a fucking night, ladies and gentlemen.
3 glasses of wine, 3 glasses of wine.
Well done.
All right, I'm glad that's on the internet.
Hey, after tonight my price went up. You have to be a Democratic Socialist if you want some of this fucking shine.
He really thinks he's the one. He did it.
Sorry. I am at Claire Valdez's victory party where we just got news. The crowd erupted because we heard that Daria Lisa has also won, which means we're 3 for 3. We swept it. We swept all 3 Sunrise endorsed candidates. And okay, here's what I'm feeling. When Zoran won, it was a sign of what could happen and what was possible. It told us what we could achieve. Tonight, though, young people have taken over New York City and we're going to Congress. Young people who are unapologetically democratic socialists, who are standing on values and standing up for working people and what we deserve, and standing against the billionaires and the corporate interests that are destroying our future. Tonight marks the end of the bought-out boomer corporate establishment Democrats, and the beginning of young people actually taking over and running a government that serves us and our futures, and not billionaire donors. I feel so honored to be here. We didn't do this magically. I think Claire's campaign knocked 350,000 doors, and just the upswelling of support from young people to be here. We didn't do this magically. I think Claire's campaign knocked 350,000 doors.
Over what time period? That's a fuck ton. If that's true, that was a big ground operation, if that's true. Nice, Jesus.
And just the upswelling of support from young people is so inspiring to me. And we can do it all across the country. We are doing it all across the country. We need your help this week to elect Milot Kiros in Colorado. If you live there, go knock doors. If you don't live there, we need you on the phone banks. And it is electric to be here and be a part of. Anyway, see you on the phones.
Stop. Apparently there was a huge influx of conservative money pumped into those races. I'd be curious to see if that was true. My guess here is the overriding headline is just going to be that the Mamdani endorsement is probably really, really, really powerful. Were there any Mamdani endorsed candidates that lost their race?
Can't believe it. It feels insane. It feels unbelievable.
But they did anyways, and they were right. Thank you for coming. All of my friends. So many volunteers.
I never thought in a million years
People, all you freaking sickos out there,
that we would be in a situation like this.
who poured over thousands of voter registration files.
It's coming to a neighborhood near you, chat. Remember, join your local DSA, join your YDSA if you're young. Join your DSA chapter, start a DSA chapter.
But it also showed
Be the change you want to see.
the driving force behind this campaign to root out corruption and bad governance, government armed with the working people of South Queens. My opponent is not just an AI warrior in a red dress. She is the product of a careless and corrupt system that is so permissive.
It's not just the blue neighborhoods. We're coming to the red neighborhoods
The reign
too.
of robocall terror ends tonight.
I don't think he endorsed anyone outside of New York, so he's 3 for 3. And then somebody said Mamdani went like 11 for 11. Which I thought there were way more than just 3 DSA races, no? In New York?
Richie Torres, I know you want.
He literally only endorsed candidates in the districts he won. Sure. But I mean, like, wouldn't you expect him to do that? That's probably where he'd be the most popular, no? Why is that surprising? Am I misunderstanding that?
Richie Torres, I know you won tonight. I didn't even look at your race. You probably won, you piece of shit. Remember, I was coming for you, but you got lucky this time. But I'll see you in 2.
Oh my God, he really thinks he's him. Jesus Christ.
See you in 2, motherfucker. I know you stopped talking shit. I know you stopped talking about Israel, Richie Torres. What happened? I'll see you in 2 years, motherfucker. Just wait. Richie, I'm coming for you, Richie.
11/11, including states.
I'm coming for you too.
This is our city.
You think shit is sweet? Sit on that fucking seat for the next 2 years. I'll see you in 2, Richie. I hope you remember that. Every day, every time there's a decision that you can make where you are pro-Israel, I hope you remember.
The Mamdani speech at the New York Knicks winning parade got a ton of good headlines as well, so maybe that got a lot of eyes on his endorsements as well. Oh, maybe.
You got 2 more years, motherfucker. 2 more years. You better act right, Richie. Hey, by the way, I just want to point out that a 32-year-old organizer just took out the fucking Congressional Hispanic Caucus chair with a campaign that the fucking incumbent ran, talking about how she said, fuck Kamala Harris. That's where America's at right now. That's what time it is. Hey, after tonight, my price went up. You have to be a Democratic Socialist if you want some of this fucking shine.
Oh, we already saw this.
Sorry. Hey, after socialism, decade of socialism, it's coming to a neighborhood near you. When I said we were going to let 1,000 Zoros bloom.
The Denver subreddit has been completely overrun by DSA brigaders. I assume every other subreddit is the same way right now. None of them actually know anything about the policies either. It's really weird. They just spam super PACs, super PACs, super PACs. I mean, like, it is the slopulism meme, right?
This is what I meant. You got Claire Valdez and numerous other wonderful DSA candidates that are outperforming expectations tonight. And that's because the American people are tired of the same old business as usual politics, the corruption, the ineptitude, the feckless nature of the Democrats that don't want to fight back against the growth of fascism in this country. This is Americans fighting back. It's only the beginning. Decade of socialism.
Okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to react to this for an ad. I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Mamdani endorsement was probably more important than Hassan streaming at New York. But I could be wrong. Hassan's endorsement. Yeah, true. What is this? 284 views 2 weeks ago. Are you the... Oh, you're the guy who made this video. 20 minutes.
Applies not only to
I love you, buddy, okay? How do you think the average Democratic voter would see DSA people? I feel like they'd look at all the energy versus the lack of energy behind Dems and flock to the vibes. I mean, it's possible because again, I just don't know how well the lib left fights against the DSA people. And remember, DSA only attacks Democrats, so the conservatives don't ever really attack them. I don't know where the DSA people advertise as much, though. I know online they can, but I don't know how influential, like Kyle Kulinski, the Majority Report, Crystal Ball, are over like real life elections. I'm not sure. I don't live on the ground though in New York City or whatever, so I can't speak to that media environment as much either. I don't know. Are there like I know that primary voters tend to be your more radical voters in the party, so that probably helps a little bit too. But are there what am I thinking of?